Morning, everyone. Good morning, educators, innovators, policymakers, and advocates. My name is Mohammed Abu Akla. I am a native of Sudan. I'm also the founder and chairman of Inaya Technologies, which is we have the honor to host this conference named Resilient Learning: Hope for Sudan Students in Crisis. Together, we go across time zones, across borders, and different screens. Some I see on mobile screens, and some on their desktops, and some on their laptops, and some probably on the road, and some in their offices, and some in classrooms, and some in between. And that is the power of connectivity through these online platforms. We all have a shared mission, which is the foundation of Inaya, as well as the foundation of this Eduversity platform powered by Moodle. And the shared vision and mission for us is to ensure that every student, no matter where and no matter what the circumstances are, can still be able to participate in education settings and continue their learning process so they can grow and enhance the chances for their success in the future of their lives. Let me quickly give you an example from Sudan. Imagine a young girl in Sudan named Amina. Amina has been displaced from her village by conflict. And unfortunately, with the war that's going on in Sudan, it's not only villages, but it's main cities, like the capital city of Khartoum and many of other significant cities that have been impacted by this situation. Despite the fact that Amina has no school to go to and has no university or classroom to attend in, and possibly no house to live in, every evening under the dim light of her mobile phone, she is able to log into the online platform to study math, science, literature, and any subjects and topics that are for her to continue earning her degree. The platform for her and the online learning possibilities for her is not only a necessity, but it's also a big hope for her life. Her story, unfortunately, is not unique. There are millions of Sudanese students that have been impacted by this crisis in the country. The challenges in Sudan are heartbreaking, and the picture of the reality of what's happening on the ground and the impact on human lives and the education sector specifically, and the students' lives and hopes and dreams cannot be painted with more darkness. Let me give you some statistics. There's over 19 million children that are out of school because of displacement and poverty. That is more. The whole population for the country, by the way, is about 50 million or less, around that number. So you can imagine that close to 40% of the students, 40% of that population, which are considered student age, have been impacted and are unable to continue their education. That's not 40% of the population. That's 40% of the population, but not 40% of the student age. So probably closer to 70 or 80% of people in school ages and different education levels have been impacted. In the recent years, less than 60% of primary school kids or children were able to be enrolled in different educational facilities, and the enrollment rates, because of conflict, have been reducing because people have to be on the move to run for fear for their lives. Specifically in conflict zones, where the war has been raging for the last 2+ years, 70% of the school's infrastructure has been damaged, destroyed, stolen, looted, or has become inaccessible. Therefore, the students will be stranded without classrooms, as well as the teachers have no place to deliver their education. However, during the time of crisis, there is always opportunity and there is always hope. For students in Sudan, education is not just a right. It is actually their lifeline. It's what they hope to achieve for their futures through the means of learning. The resilience that education builds across communities can only be delivered through the efforts of educators all over the world that are participating despite of these challenges to deliver educational material and courses to students in areas of crisis. Our platform, Eduversity, is designed for that, to ensure that everyone, regardless of where they are, have accessible and flexible connectivity to this learning experience. The idea is that we wanted to make sure that everyone, regardless of where they are, regardless of their location, has the ability to connect to the classroom and continue to get their learning. So we are basically linking the students, regardless of where they are, and the educators, regardless of where they are, to be able to access knowledge and deliver knowledge. The good news is roughly about 26 million people in Sudan use mobile phones, despite the fact that a lot of the infrastructure has been disrupted by the war, but there are a lot of efforts from the different companies and the government to rehabilitate and to bring things back to life. As well, these kind of platforms allow for the self-paced learning. Not every student is able to connect during specific times for classes. And therefore, in many cases, these students will need to be able to log in later on when they have connectivity, when they are safe, when they are in a place where they have a little bit of peace and quiet around them to engage and continue learning. As well, of course, because of COVID, online learning became the de facto educational tool, just to make sure that it goes hand in hand with the in-class instructions. This morning, and for the days to follow, we will be together working on dissecting the challenges for education in these areas, in these challenges were areas that have war, and we'll use, unfortunately, the crisis in Sudan as an example. But we'll also be proposing bold and very targeted solutions to overcome these issues. We will be talking about issues with connectivity, limited technology readiness, the challenges of support, resource scarcity, people on the move, and the likes. You will hear from different visionaries and different experts that will be sharing their strategies and their experience on how they have been able to deliver education despite of these challenges. And we will also explore how our platform can help in empowering that educational journey for the students and engaging with the delivery of knowledge from the teachers from everywhere. This is not just a conference. For us, this is the start of a movement. It's a movement that we want everybody to participate and to push forward with us. You are here because you believe that education can change lives. You are here because we all believe that a child in displacement camps deserves the same opportunities for learning as any other child who is in urban developed areas anywhere in the world. So let us together work on this collective energy, share the ideas, create partnerships, and commit to action. Together we can ensure that Sudan students, like Amina, are just not surviving only, but also thriving. And with that, I thank you for your passion, for the expertise, for the dedication to the cause, for taking the time to join us in this conference this morning and for the days before. Let us create a moment together and take this moment as the turning point. This will be the point of hope for Sudan students in crisis. And with that, thank you very much, and let us begin.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Abu Agla. And now let's, to save the time, move directly to introduce Dr. Badikir from Higher Ministry of Education in Sudan. Now you are to introduce yourself and start for your presentation. Dr. Badikir.
Thank you very much, everybody. And before I begin, I would like to say good morning for everybody in this very nice conference. Good morning to the teachers. Good morning to the students. Good morning for the researchers and everybody who's attending this conference. And for the ministry speech, I would like to use Arabic language as our mother language in the country. السيدات والسادة، الإخوة والأخوات المشاركون، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يشرفني أن أتحدث أمامكم اليوم ممثلا للسيد وزير التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي البروفيسور الغامة محمد حسن دهب، ناقلا إليكم تحياته وتقديره ومسمنا انعقاد هذا المؤتمر الهام تحت شعار الأمل لطلاب السودان في ظل الأزمات. إنه شعار يعبر عن روح الإرادة التي ترفض الانكسار مهما اشتدت المحن، وهو لا يحمل فقط دلالة رمزية بل يعكس حقيقة عشناها جميعا منذ التمرد الغاشم في أبريل 2023 والذي خلف دمارا ممنهجا في مؤسساتنا التعليمية. فقد واجه قطاع التعليم العالي في السودان خسائر كبيرة بفعل الميليشيا الظالمة المتمردة، حيث تضررت جامعاتنا الواقعة في ولايات الخرطوم ودارفور والجزيرة وغيرها، ونزح الآلاف من الأساتذة والطلاب، وتشتت العاملون والكوادر، وتلاشت بيئة التعليم الآمنة في مناطق عديدة في بداية الحرب. وفي وسط هذا الدمار لم يغب الأمل تماما، كما لم تغب راية الوطن التي ظلت ترفرف بفضل صمود وبسالة قواتنا المسلحة التي تسطر كل يوم ملاحم من ملاحم البطولات في ميادين القتال، دفاعا عن الأرض والعرض وحفاظا على مؤسسات الدولة، وفي مؤسساتها في مقدمتها مؤسسات التعليم العالي. كما صمد جيشنا الباسل في ميادين القتال، استعادت وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي زمام المبادرة علميا وعمليا وتعليميا، وصمد طلابنا وأساتذتنا في ميادين العلم والمعرفة، وأسسوا لانتصار من نوع آخر، انتصار العقل والإرادة على الجهل والتخريب. فقد استعاد طلابنا مكانة العلم وسط نيران الحرب، وثبتوا على مقاعد الدراسة حين زلزلت الأرض من خلفهم. وكما أنا أرى جنود قواتنا المسلحة بانتصاراتهم المشرفة على الميليشيا المتمردة ميادين الشرف، واستعادت قواتنا المسلحة السيطرة على مواقع استراتيجية في الخرطوم ومدرمان وبحري وكرري والجزيرة وغيرها في ملاحم سجلها التاريخ من فخر ودم، فقد أنار طلابنا وأساتذتنا سماء الوطن بالعلم. الحضور الكريم، أشارت تقارير وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي إلى تخرج الآلاف من الطلاب في ظل الحرب. ومن هنا نحيي السيد وزير التعليم العالي وكل مدراء الجامعات الحكومية والأهلية والخاصة وكل الأساتذة والطلاب والخريجين والأسر على هذا الإنجاز الذي يعتبر درسا لكل من يريد المساس بالسودانيين. وكل زول بين يتربص مرجع قلم درس علم تكنولوجيا سلاح وعمل حتى النصر. ومنذ بداية الحرب استعادت وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي زمام المبادرة علميا وتكنولوجيا عبر أدوات العصر، وفي مقدمتها التعليم الإلكتروني. فالتعليم هو جزء من رؤية واسعة لتحقيق التنمية المستدامة. فالتعليم ليس مجرد محتوى أكاديمي، بل هو أداة لتحسين حياة الأفراد والمجتمعات. وهذه الرؤية تتماشى تماما مع أهداف الألفية للتنمية Millennium Development Goals، والتي تشمل هدفا أساسيا هو تحقيق التعليم الشامل والجيد للجميع، وتوفير فرص متساوية في التعليم، وتحقيق التنمية المستدامة التي تساهم في القضاء على الفقر. وفي هذا الخصوص قامت الميليشيا المتمردة بتغويط حق التعليم الذي تكفله قوانين الأمم المتحدة والإنسانية للمواطن السوداني. السيدات والسادة الإخوة الحضور، أصبح التعليم الإلكتروني أداة حيوية وبوابة عبور نحو المستقبل، ومن هنا نربط جهودنا بالتحولات العالمية الكبرى في التعليم، وعلى رأسها الذكاء الاصطناعي الذي لم يعد رفاهية أو ترف، بل أصبح ضرورة استراتيجية لبناء تعليم عالي الجودة ومرن ومواكب لسوق العمل. وإننا في وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي لا ننظر إلى التعليم الإلكتروني كاستجابة مؤقتة، بل كجزء من رؤية استراتيجية لتحديث التعليم العالي من خلال تبني مناهج مرنة تدمج فيها المهارات الرقمية والابتكار وتوسيع التعليم التطبيقي المرتبط بزيادة الإنتاج والاقتصاد الإنتاجي، وتعزيز المنصات الرقمية وتمكين الخريجين من مواكبة متطلبات سوق العمل في ظل منافسة متسارعة. وفي هذا الإطار تسعى وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي إلى تعزيز إدماج الذكاء الاصطناعي في المناهج والبحوث، تشجيع الطلاب على استخدام أدوات الذكاء الاصطناعي في التحليل والإبداع والتصميم، تدريب الأساتذة والكوادر الأكاديمية على تطبيقات الذكاء الاصطناعي في التعليم، تشجيع المشاريع الطلابية والبحثية التي توظف تقنيات الذكاء الاصطناعي في حل المشكلات
دكتور بابكر هل معنا؟ الصوت فقط. دكتور بابكر.
It's clearly that he is facing technical problem or internet cut out or something like that.
Okay, maybe. Okay, let's wait for Dr. Babikir until he come back. So let's move on to introduce Ms. Amna from University. So now you are shared as a presentation until Dr. Babikir back. Says the time. Dr. Amna, do you hear me? Dr. Amna?
Yes, Munzir, I'm here. I just want to share my file. Okay, I'm here, yeah.
Okay, now you are presenter, so you can share your screen.
Okay. Okay. The presentation is clear, Munzir?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. Welcome everyone. السلام عليكم. نرحب بجميع الحضور. ثانكس مستر أبو عقلة كلمة، وثانكس دكتور بابكر ودعم التعليم العالي عموما في مجال التعليم الإلكتروني. يمكن دكتور بابكر رئيس لجنة التعليم الإلكتروني في وزارة التعليم العالي والبحث العلمي، وكان عندها العديد من الإسهامات في بعد الحرب في وضع اللوائح والقوانين والأسس الصحيحة لاستخدام التعليم الإلكتروني، لأنه صراحة البيست براكتس الاستخدام مختلف من جامعة لجامعة، حتى مفهوم التنفيذ بيختلف. فيمكن أنا في عجالة هأعرض لكم في السنتين اللي فاتت التشالنجز اللي قابلناها والتحديات الموجودة عموما في مؤسسات التعليم العالي المختلفة في فهم الإي ليرنينج واستخدامات التكنولوجي في الإي ليرنينج. فنبدأ بالسلايد الأول. حنتكلم على التحديات اللي واجهت المؤسسات التعليم العالي عموما بعد الحرب. بتتقسم challenges facing the after crisis لثلاثة أقسام رئيسية. الدمج اللي حصل في الانفراستراكشرز وفي السيستمز عموما، الداتا سنترز بتاعت الجامعات إذا كان أصلا موجود فيها داتا سنترز عموما أو كان في small server room، في دمج حصل كبير جدا في عدد كبير جدا من الجامعات، وبالتالي فقدت هذه الجامعات الأنظمة اللي بتحتوي على الداتا بتاعت الطلاب والأكاديميك ستيتس وكل تفاصيل العملية التعليمية اللي كانت الداتا الموجودة. بعد كده نقص الإنترنت والكهرباء حتى بعد التنفيذ، وبعد الجامعات انتقلت لتنفيذ الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم وانتقلت للتدريس عبر المنصات. still we are facing الإنترنت connectivity واستمرار الكهرباء، وأيضا عدم استقرار للستودنت والتيتشرز في إنه هم متنقلين من مكان لمكان. فدي برضه واحدة من التشالنجز إنه how we can solve it، يعني إحنا كيف ممكن نقدم solutions for everyone زي ما ذكر مستر أبو عقلة، إنه من حق أي زول whatever إنه هو قاعد وين في أي مكان whatever إنه كان عمره إنه يتلقى التعليم. فهو we can help them using learning management systems إنهم يتلقوا التعليم بمختلف التحديات الموجودة. وحنشوف شو نعرض سريع جزء من التكنيكال سوليوشنز البراكتيكال تكنيكال سوليوشنز اللي اتنفذت في الفترة اللي فاتت. بالنسبة للإنفراستراكشر أو الدمج اللي حصل في الإنفراستراكشر، يمكن لو كنا نحن قبل الحرب يعني مستخدمين سياسات using الكلاود كومبيوتينج سيرفيس، لأنه الكلاود كومبيوتينج سيرفيس بتخليك أنت تحفظ الداتا بتاعتك في مكان سيف. نحن عندنا مدرستين في السودان بنتعامل مع مدراء الجامعات مع مسؤولين الشؤون العلمية في إنه الداتا الأكاديمية داتا حساسة جدا. ففي مدرستين، في مدرسة بتقول لك no I want to save my data جنبي، يعني أنا عايز البيانات تكون موجودة عندي في الجامعة في اللوكال داتا سنتر، وفي بعض الجامعات التي يعني توصلت لفهم إنه لا الداتا دي لازم تكون موجودة في مكان أكثر أمانا، أوكي، وإتاحة الوصول للداتا بصورة أكبر اللي هو الهاي افيلابيلتي اوف سيرفيس الموجودة في الكلاود كومبيوتنج، الاستضافة بتاعت المخدمات نفسها، يعني بدل الكوست الناس بتصرفوا في الانفراستراكشر ونشتري السيرفر والسيرفر بعد سنتين محتاجين للستورج اتملى حنشتري سيرفر ثاني. a lot of cost صراحة أرهقت الجامعات البادجت تحت الإنشاء بتاع الداتا سنترز، وبعد مواصلة يعني إضافة الساعات للداتا سنترز every 2 years every 3 years صراحة كانت تصرف عليها أموال طائلة جدا في السنين اللي فاتت. فانتقلت الجامعات بالطريقة الحديثة للكلاود كومبيوتينج سيرفيس إنه just use the service في الكلاود، وكل الهيدك بتاع الانفراستراكشر والانستليشن والكونفيجريشن والتربل شوتينج وكل التفاصيل دي أصبحت موجودة الخدمة كسيرفيس، أنت تتلقى السيرفيس من الكلاود كومبيوتينج سيرفيس. فيمكن دي واحدة من الحلول الرئيسية اللي قدمتها University Platforms، إنه الهيدك بتاع الانفراستراكشرز والمانجمنت it's not required لأي جامعة إنه عشان to access the learning management systems within a crisis تاخد هم الانفراستراكشر وتفاصيل الانفراستراكشر. even right now الدمج اللي حصل في الداتا سنترز كمية من الجامعات، even وزارة التعليم العالي نفسها تعرضت لضرر في الداتا سنترز. فرايت ناو المدرسة اللي بتقول لا الداتا لوكال تكون موجودة جنبي we should have to make a backup، لازم يكون عندنا synchronization servers للمدرسة دي بالذات، لأن المدرسة دي بالذات تعرضت لضرر كبير جدا. الناس الدارين الداتا تكون قاعدة جنبهم جوا الجامعة وحصل دمج للجامعة so they lost their data. فstart right now بأنه نمشي في right solution في right track and we should have to go even يعني السودان كل تفاصيله في السنتين الجايين يفترض كل حتى الوزارات حتى المؤسسات التعليمية وكله to go on cloud until الحاجات تستقر. بعد ذاك الناس ممكن تعمل فكرة السينكرونايزيشن إنه في جهة قادرة على إنها تعمل لوكال داتا سنتر بالمواصفات العالمية للداتا سنترز وتوفر الكهرباء والكونكتيفيتي والتفاصيل الكثيرة المطلوبة للداتا سنترز الانترناشونال داتا سنترز، يعني عشان يكون في هاي availability of services until الحاجة دي تحصل ويكون في synchronization برضو يكون عندنا باك اب كديزاستر ريكفري موجود في الكلاود، الداتا موجوده في اللوكال اللي عندك وموجوده في الكلاود. ان كيس انت طالع الصباح ماشي على مؤسستك وحصل اي شيء، يعني احنا لنا 7 سنة 8 سنة في البلد في عدم استقرار باسباب مختلفه، الحاجات ما هتجيب ليه؟ لانك already you have a backup في الكلاود so you can use the cloud services directly. فدي واحده من السوليوشنز المهمه جدا اللي لازم في الفتره الجايه نركز عليها. ومن احنا في السنتين اللي فاتوا شغلنا كله مع الجامعات اللي حصل لها ديستروي كامل في الداتا سنترز، فقدت كل الانظمه، نظام التسجيل، نظام النتائج، حتى كانت بعض الجامعات عندها انظمه ماليه، انظمه اداريه تحتوي على داتا كبيره جدا للجامعات الكبيره. فكل الحاجات دي حصل لها لوس. فلما نستخدم الكلاود كومبيوتنج سيرفيسز بنتكلم على باكجز كامله، سوفت وير از سيرفيس، او ممكن نصل في بعض الجامعات الكبيره اللي عندها عدد كبير من الانظمه يفوق ال7 9 انظمه، لانه يكون في كومبليت وان بلاتفورم از سيرفيس للجامعه دي، عندها وان داتابيز موجود منها باك اب. ففي تفاصيل كثيره لما تتلقى السيرفيسز كلها في مكان واحد ويكون البلاتفورمز انتجريتد وهاف وان داتابيز، والداتابيز دي نفسها مضمون انه هي حاصل لها باك اب اون كلاود كومبيوتنج سيرفيس. افتكر انه بنكون حلينا جزء كبير من المشاكل اللي حصل للوست اوف داتا. رايت ناو بدات الجامعات اللي فقدت السيستمز حقتها وانظمتها تجمع الداتا مانيوالي من الطلاب، من المسجلين، من مديرين الامتحانات، اخر نتيجه اتعلقت، حتى ايفن الرقم الاي دي نمبر للستودنتس اتفقد. فبعد ذاك حصلت بدائل انه الطالب الاولاد بيجيب بطاقته، بيجيب اخر نتيجه له، بيحصل له جنريشن لاي دي نمبر في الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم بتاع الجامعه انتل ما الجامعه تحل موضوع بتاع الرقم الجامعي الاصلي عشان ترجع الداتا باك. ففي سوليوشنز حصلت في الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم لاسترجاع بيانات الطلاب، استخراج الاي دي نمبرز من الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم عشان الجامعه يكون عندها اي دي للطالب تتابع معه التسجيل، النتائج، انتقال الطالب من مرحله لمرحله وتيفرز. فيبقى في كومبليت سيرفيسز من ناحيه بتاعت السوفت وير از سيرفيس من لجميع الانظمه الموجوده في الجامعه. فنحن كده عملنا تو سوليوشنز للانفراستراكشرز وللانظمه بتاعت الجامعات اللي هي فقدت الداتا بتاعتها، سواء كانت تحت الطلاب او داتا الشؤون العلميه او حتى الانظمه الاداريه والاكاديميه داخل الجامعه. حاجه مهمه جدا ان احنا فجاه يعني الناس اتفاجئت بكرايسس موجوده. طيب عايزين نوصل التعليم، الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم متوفر، وفرنا الانفراستراكشر، وفرنا المنصات، منو اللي حيستخدمها؟ التشالنج الكبير في الاستخدام بيقع الاستخدام الرئيسي على الاساتذه. فالاساتذه في اساتذه نسبه كبيره جدا من الاساتذه ما تعاملوا نهائيا قبل كده مع منصات التعليم الالكتروني، او حتى they don't know انه كيف to deal how to log in, how to interact with your students، كيف يعمل evaluation للستودنت، كيف يعمل interactive lessons. فجزء كبير جدا من نجاح العمليه التعليميه على منصات التعليم الالكتروني بيعتمد على التريننج. والتريننج نفسه it's not just for teachers, training for teachers, training for admin people المسؤولين في الجامعه، سواء مدراء مركز الحاسوب، التكنيكال people المسؤولين للداتا سنترز، من ادارات التعليم الالكتروني. they should have to be trained well عشان يقدموا التكنيكال سبورت لوكالي داخل الجامعه، وعشان to move on بالعمليه التعليميه. يعني learning management system right now بقت the must even if إن شاء الله الجامعات استقرت ورجعنا مرة ثانية للوكيشنز ولمواقعنا، still منصات واستخدام الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم should have to be حاجة parallel مع التدريس الفيس تو فيس، حاجة رئيسية جدا. كل الثيوريتيكال بارتس ممكن يكون موجود على المنصات، تقلل على الجامعات تكلفة التشغيل، الكهرباء، الاوبريشنز، انه حتى الناس تجي كل يوم. رايت ناو الجامعات ممكن تبدا تستابلش انه يجهزوا قاعة واحدة او قاعتين، وبعد ذاك الجداول تبدا تنتظم في انه والله في جزء كبير جدا من المنهج الثيوريتيكال بارتس كله حيدرس عبر الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم. فيبقى الطالب حيجي الجامعه يشوف البراكتيكال سايد في الكليات اللي بتحتاج للبراكتيكال سايد، او حيكون في قاعات كبيره، لكن نقلل وجود الطلاب داخل الجامعه وبرضه الاساتذه داخل الجامعه بانه نستخدم parallel learning management system. مهم جدا يكون في coordinators حسب البراكتس اللي احنا عملناه في التنفيذ في السنتين اللي فاتت. المنسقين بيساعدوا جدا اللي هم مسجلين الكليات في جمع الداتا، جمع بيانات الطلاب، توفير بيانات النتائج، انتقال الطلاب من مرحله لمرحله وتيفرز. فهم عندهم دور مهم جدا وعندهم صلاحيات داخل الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم، بس صفتهم كمسجلين مسؤولين عن الداتا اديتنج للستودنتس وايفن للتيتشرز. حصل تشينج في التيتشرز في المقررات، حصلت اي حاجه، بالاضافه للطلاب نفسهم في باكج تدريبيه كامله عملنا لهم مانيوال PDF how to use your learning management system باليونيفرسيتي سيم بتاعه. كل جامعه عندها سيمز مختلف، وتم برضو تصميم يعني حسب بعض الجامعات وبعض المدارس الانترناشونال سكولز الموجوده معنا في يونيفرسيتي بلاتفورمز استخدمت الموبايل اب. الموبايل ابلكيشنز من الحاجات المهمه جدا، لانه رايت ناو كل الناس في السودان برغم الكرايسس دي لكن they can access الموبايل نتورك. ممكن يكون حتى لو الطالب ما عنده تليفون، في تليفون في البيت whatever انه هو بتعمله. فاكوردنج للجدول بتاعه الطالب can use this telephone to access a learning management system. فواحده من الحاجات المهمه برضه training of students. صراحه الستودنت ما عندهم مشكله في التريننج، زي كان موف اون سريع جدا. التشالنج الكبير اللي قابلنا في teachers training ويمكن نأهل coordinators عشان يقوم بوظائف الcoordinators في الجامعه. واحده من الحاجات اللي لقيتنا كانت شويه فيها struggling. الحاجة الثانية زي ما شفنا في الدامج أو التشالنجز اللي حصلت بعد ما توفرت الانفراستراكشر وتوفرت الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم وتوفرت تريننج everything is well، خلاص احنا جاهزين to move on عشان نتلقى التعليم أو to start التعليم. حتلاقينا مشكلة الانترنت كونكتيفيتي. الانترنت كونكتيفيتي شركات الاتصالات بتقوم بمجهود كبير جدا الآن، ويمكن في مؤتمر في الاتحاد الدولي للاتصالات يعني في هذا التوقيت يعني امبارح والليله وبكره بيتكلم على السيتويشن بتاع وضع الاتصالات في السودان، بيقدمه الدكتور يحيى عبد الله. هو بيعتذر، كان المفروض يشارك معنا. فشركات الاتصالات زي الموف اب يعني ان شاء الله الخدمات حتتوفر قريب، وبتعمل سبورتنج للليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم. يمكن احنا بنتكلم على تجربه يونيفرسيتي مع شركات الاتصالات وتحديدا شركه MTN. احنا وفرنا شرائح سيم كارد كانت في الزيرو ريت. يعني شنو زيرو ريت؟ يعني الطالب يدخل المنصه من غير ما يدفع قروش، من غير ما يكون منشط انترنت. just using this SIM card بتاع شركه الاتصالات، الطالب قادر على انه يدخل المنصه في اي وقت في اي زمن من غير ما ينشط انترنت. تمام، دخل المنصه حيشوف جدول، حيشوف محاضراته فور شو. بعد ذاك عايز عمليه الابلودينج والداونلودينج عمليه بتاخد محتاجه ساعات اكبر. وفرت برضه شركه الاتصالات اللي احنا عملنا معاها اللي هي MTN باكجز مخصصه للطلاب، وكانت الفيري تشيب انه طالب في حالات الابلودينج والداونلودينج، في حاله الانتراكتيف ليكتشرز، وفي حاله السوفت وير سيموليشن بيحتاج هو يدخل براكتيكال عشان يشتغل، فإتس نيدز مور باندويث فور انترنت كاباسيتي. فهنا بيقوم شركه الاتصالات نفسها اللي وفرت الزيرو ريت في السيم كارد، وفرت برضه باكجز رخيصه جدا بالنسبه للطلاب للاشتراك في باقات تمكنهم من انه يدخل على الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم، وايفن الحاجات اللي فيها ريندرينج وفيها فيديو هم يقدروا يحضروها بالانترنت باكجز دي. فواحده من الحاجات المهمه جدا الشراكه مع قطاع الاتصالات في الفتره دي بالذات لتوفير سوليوشنز مختلفه، لانه without internet اوكي what can we do؟ فحتكون مشكله انه الطالب to access الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم. ويمكن حاولنا في منصه اتحاد الجامعات السودانيه تم فيها تدريب اكثر من 470 استاذ على تقنيات استخدام الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم في السودان. التجربه كانت انه التدريب منقسم لقسمين، 80% منه كان اوف لاين. يعني شنو اوف لاين؟ يعني ما الا ان احنا نكون لايف زي ما نحن موجودين الان. الباكج التدريبيه كلها موجوده في 12 تريننج سيشن. السيشنز دي موجوده مسجله سيلف ليرنينج. متى ما الاستاذ لقى انترنت دخل هيكمل الباكج التدريبيه دي. خلص سيشن 1 عنده ميشن هيعملها so we can follow انه منو دخل وخلص الميشن بتاعته to go to step 2. يمكن التجربه كانت ناجحه جدا في انه كان موجودين عدد كبير من الاساتذه في مدني. بعد حصلت مشكله الضربه بتاعت مدني انقطعوا عن الكورس لمده شهر وشويه، شهر ونص او شهرين. when they start come back لقوا طريقه يرجعوا باك ولقوا انترنت، لقوا الستاتس بتاعتهم موجوده في التريننج باكج في اخر سيشنز هم كانوا واقفين فيها، وقدروا تو موف اون وخلصوا الكورس واخذوا السيرتيفيكيتس بتاعتهم. فده نوع من التدريب المهم توفره الان موجود في منصات اليونيفرسيتي، في اللايف تريننج والانتراكتيف تريننج، وفي الاوفلاين تريننج. اوفلاين بمعنى انه الكونتنت موجود وعليه تفاصيل فيها ميشنز فيها ايفالويشنز للاستاذ نفسه للاكمال وريبورتات تطلع عن تقرير تدريبي عنه. دي موجوده اوفلاين. متى ما الاستاذ وجد فرصه للانترنت بيدخل بيواصل الباكج التدريبيه بتاعته. دي واحده من الحاجات المهمه حلت لنا مشاكل كثيره صراحه. بعد كده other technical solutions اللي توفرت من يونيفرسيتي في الفتره اللي فاتت في منصات يونيفرسيتي، زي ما ذكرت انه الجامعات الان في وضع انه they need to move on في الدراسه. قاعدين نبدا دراسه، الطلبه تاخروا كثير وتعطلوا كثير وفي ناس المفروض تتخرج. فاليونيفرسيتي بلاتفورم بيوفر لك كل الهدي بتاع الانتجريشن والكستمايزيشن والتريننج والامبلمنتيشن والتكنيكال سبورت. المنصات متوفره على مدار 24 ساعه. الهايبيليتي اوف سيرفيس، التكنيكال سبورت متوفر على مدار 24 ساعه. الباك اب اوتوميتد باك اب اوكي الدي اللي بيتخذ الباك اب. موضوع سينكرونايزيشن اللي اتكلمنا عنه، في تو سينكرونايزيشن سيرفيس لاي منصه بنكون موجود فيها باك اب ان كيس انه anything happens المنصه A مثلا ولا LMS A LMS B is compatible with it، طوال هو حيشتغل. فيبقى الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستمز اليونيفرسيتي شال مننا الهيدك بتاع كل التشالنجز اللي اتكلمنا عنها في السلايد الاول. بعد كده الجامعات حسب وضعها محتاجه كونسلتيشن. الجامعه اللي فقدت الداتا بتاعتها نهائيا محتاجه كونسلتيشن لسوليوشن معين. الجامعات اللي عندها partial of their system and need to integrate السيستمز مع learning management system عندها سوليوشن معين. فيبقى كيس باي كيس في كونسلتيشن بيحصل للجامعه according للداتا بتاعت الجامعه لتفاصيل كثيره عشان تقدم technical solution according للسيتويشن بتاع الموجود في الجامعه. من اهم الخدمات الموجوده في Diversity Platform البيكر بيبل بوتون، وهو fully integrated مع موديل بيوفر الخدمات اللايف اللي هو المحاضرات اللايف، الانتراكتيف ليسونز، الانتراكتيف ليكتشرز مع الاستاذ. واهم حاجه برضو انه بيكون مسجله الحاجه دي ان كيس عندنا طلاب في السودان ما في كهرباء ما في انترنت، متى ما دخلوا في اي وقت الليكتشرز موجوده they can follow شهر كامل فاتهم. بيدخلوا على الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم بيلقوا كل الحاجات مسجله according للتايم تيبل they can follow العمليه التعليميه كامله، حتى الحاجات اللي كانت لايف هم ما حضروها they can find the video. المور ادفانس فيتشرز الموجوده في البيكر بيبل بوتون المستخدم في ديفرسيتي انه في السابق نحن كان بيكون عندنا تسجيل موجود كرابط. تسجيل موجود كرابط معناها الطالب عشان يحضر الرابط ده محتاج انه يكون عنده انترنت، ساعه بتاعت انترنت بطول الليكتشر، ليكتشر ساعه ليكتشر ساعتين، هو لازم يكون عنده انترنت تحضره ساعه وساعتين اجين لانه هي رابط. لكن رايت ناو اصبح مجرد ما التسجيل يتم بيكون as MP4 فيديو with very large MP4 فيديو، فبيحصل له just داونلود. يعني الطالب لو دخل مره واحده في الاسبوع يمكن داونلود محاضراته بتاعت الاسبوع كلها ب MP4 فيديو وده كان attend the lecture offline وخلاص هو عامل داونلود. واحده من الحاجات السوليوشنز المهمه برضو اللي اضافت في الديفرسيتي ليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم الانتجريتد سوفت وير سيميوليشن. جهزنا ال LMS، جهزنا الانفراستراكشر، جهزنا التكنيكال سبورت، عملنا تريننج للتيتشرز، everything is ready. هنجي للبراكتيكال. اوكي طب الطالب ده عشان يتخرج هو في كليه الطب، في كليه الصيدله، في كليه الهندسه، بيدرس بروجرامينج، عنده براكتيكال سايد. هاو وي كان كفر البراكتيكال سايدز. غطينا الحاجه دي بانه وفرنا انتجريتد سوفت وير سيميوليشنز في مجالات مختلفه جدا. واحده من البرامج المهمه جدا عندنا الانسس برنامج مهم جدا مستخدم في السودان فتره طويله جدا. الصفات للطيران، كليه الهندسه جامعه السودان للطيران، التصنيع الحربي، كل الميكانيكال ايشو بيستخدموا البرنامج ده. هو سوفت وير سيموليشن كامل بيقوم بتفاصيل هيكل المجسم اللي انت عايز تعمل وتفر، انه كان بتاع عربيه بتاع طياره وتفر. فالبرنامج ده دقيق جدا صراحه، وبيحصل فيه عمليات رياضيه كثيره جدا حتى لحجم الحاجه اللي بتطلع دي او بتصنع. قبل التصنيع بيحصل تيستينج كامل في البرنامج، وبيحصل تيستينج اول حاجه انتاج بعض المنتجات منه، حتى بعد ذاك مثلا يحصل التجميع الكامل للطياره. يمكن عندنا في جامعه السودان في كليه الطيران مستخدم واحده من البرامج المهمه جدا خلت طلاب الهندسه تو موف اون. كثير من البرامج الاخرى الالكترونيك سيركتس في الهندسه، في الكهرباء برضو الالكترونيك سيركتس ناس الكهرباء. ففي برامج كثيره سوفت وير سيموليشن اضافت على المنصات. وبرضو عندنا في الميديكال سايد، الميديكال سايد من الحاجات المهم جدا طبعا فيها البراكتيكال. فالبراكتيكال اشكاليه انه كيف الطالب بالذات الخريجين زي ما ذكر الدكتور بابكر، في عدد كبير جدا من الخريجين، نسبه كبيره منهم من طلاب الطب تحديدا، الطب والاسنان والصيدله. ففي سوفت وير سيموليشنز كثيره جدا اضافت غطت جانب كبير من الجانب العملي للطلاب بالذات في الليفل بتاع ال 1 2 3 حسب ما هو مجاز في الشؤون العلميه من مقرراتهم. ففي مجهودات كبيره قامت في المجال الطبي تحديدا. يمكن عندنا بكره في سيشن دكتور عبد المنعم حيتكلم لنا بالتفصيل على السوفت وير سيموليشنز اللي اتقدمت في المجال الطبي. برضو عندنا واحده من الحاجات المهمه اللي اضافت في Diversity Learning Management System الفيرتشوال بروجرامينج لاب. الفيرتشوال بروجرامينج لاب بيوفر يمكن اكثر من 32 لغه برمجه. يبقى طلاب الهندسه وطلاب الحاسوب وطلاب نظم المعلومات قادرين على استخدام اللاب وينفذوا الكود بتاعهم فيرتشوالي اونلاين كانهم هم كانوا موجودين في اللاب بتاع الجامعه. فصراحه ده برضه حلت اشكاليه كبيره جدا في السايد بتاع البروجرامينج لانجويج لاب، انه عدد كبير جدا من الطلاب يشتغلوا البراكتيكال سايد بتاعهم في البروجرامينج على منصه على الليرنينج مانجمنت سيستم. طيب خلصنا الدراسه الثيوريتيكال بارت والبراكتيكال بارت، جينا نمتحن الطلاب. الامتحانات برضو عندها different type of solutions حسب
2 minutes دكتور آمنة 2 minutes.
اوكي يمكن الامتحانات الالكترونيه موجوده وافيلبل في منصات الديفرسيتي، وعندنا سيشن بالتفصيل يمكن حيتكلم عنها ان شاء الله الباشمهندس منذر الاسر. الموبايل ابلكيشن زي ما ذكرت واحده من الحاجات المهمه لانه الطالب كان access learning management system using الموبايل اب. عندنا اكثر يعني التجربه اللي انا بحكي عنها بكل التشالنجز دي في منصات اليونيفرسيتي starting from KG until البوست جراديويت، عندنا اكثر من 7000 يوزر using كل السيرفيسز اللي انا ذكرتها في اليونيفرسيتي. ثانك يو.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Amna. So let's move on to start for the session. So we have the first session that will be presenting by Prof. Salah from University of Al-Muqtarbin. The title of the session is the evaluation of the use of e-university platform in higher education during a war crisis. So now, Professor Salah, now you have the permission for the presentation. So you can start and share your presentation. Prof. Salah, do you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you very well. I need to share my screen first.
Yes, now you have the permission of the presentation.
Okay, I'm looking actually for the sharing button.
You can open in your PPT and just share your device if you cannot uploading into the live. You can share your device.
Okay, let me. To share it. I haven't seen the sharing buttons as I said to you.
Okay, let me remove it.
Can you send it for me, Dr. Salah?
What is your email? Okay, let me go out and come again.
Dr. Salah, no. There's no reason to go out. Just try now. Try now. Now you are makeup presenter. Did you see the blue plus on the left corner?
Okay.
Yes,
Start
you can
share
click.
note.
Yes, almost we can see it.
Share note. You mean? Can you see it now? No.
No, we cannot
This
see it.
is why I said to you first. Let us. No. Okay, I will go out and come again. This is why when I enter the session, firstly I said I need to test.
Okay, we are just waiting for Prof. Salah to come back for the technical issue of sharing the presentation.
I'm facing problem to share the presentation. Can you see my screen now?
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, try now.
Plus,
Did you see the share screen near to the mute microphone? You can see the share screen. جنب الخيار بتاع الكاميرا في خيار بتاع شير سكرين، ممكن
لا ما
تعمل
في.
شير
لا ما في.
طيب في علامة بلس ظاهرة لك على
في
يدك
علامة
الشمال.
بلس، يس نعم.
ايوه اضغط عليها واعمل ابلود للمانج ابلود مانج برزنتيشن. ظهرت لك ابلود مانج برزنتيشن؟
لا ما في 2 خيارين فقط. ايوه share and extend video upload presentation. تمام يا دوب انت اديتني الاكسس.
اوكي تمام اوكي.
نعم. Okay, I'm working on it. Just a minute. Okay, now it's coming to you.
Okay, yes, we can see your presentation. So you
Okay.
can start for Salah. You have 30 minutes for the presentation and 10 minutes for question to take the opportunities for the participant to ask you any question during the presentation. Okay, so you can start.
That's great. First of all, I need to actually appreciate this opportunity for me to present my humble presentation regarding the case study of our implementation of University platform, and we have conducted evaluation from our experience. It is a real test of the system and what obstacles that we have faced and how we overcome these obstacles. Our presentation will be introducing an introduction, the impact war on Al-Muqtaribin University, and the importance of solution. Then we speak about the methodology we follow in this study, and also we're going to speak about the result and discussion and recommendation. Now from here, Al-Muqtaribin University was established in 2010 through a collaborative initiative involving Sudanese expertise primarily in Saudi Arabia and Gulf state, with 18% of the investment, with the remaining from the government. The university initially launched with 3 colleges: medicine, language, and engineering. Over time, it expanded to include the College of Nursing and Pharmacy, Business Management, and most recently, the College of Computer Science and Information Technology, which over 20 undergraduate program. In the current academic year, also we start our first post-graduation program. The trajectory of Al-Mu'tarribin University is marked by resilience and progress, particularly during time of adversity, and the pivotal moment in the digital transformation began during the COVID-19 pandemic, which significantly disrupted all civil activities, including education. This disruption served as a wake-up call, promoting the university to seek sustainable alternative to traditional education. It became evidence that e-learning would be the only viable solution in the event of recruiting crisis. University learning management system aim various various e-learning platform evaluation. The university system was selected to fulfill the university vision of a robust and dynamic online learning environment. The university is a learning management system based on the open source model framework, renowned for its flexibility and widespread adoption in education institutions globally. Model's capabilities have transformed e-learning across education level from primary to post study. On the implementation, the system was promptly deployed and comprehensive training programs were initiated. As a result, over 65% of the students quickly adopted, as it have seen in the graphic representation, and 36 of staff have become familiar with the system, and they actually implemented as a prototype solution for the university, but it is as supporting the traditional education. Pre the war context, just 1 month before the onset of the war, most academic units at the university were concluding the semester and preparing for final examination scheduled after the month of Ramadan. During the first week of Ramadan, students received the semester examination timetable and academic operation proceeded as planned. In this regard, on Saturday, April the 15th, 20th of Ramadan, Sudan and a violent conflict erupted in Sudan, an event that will remain deeply entouched in national memory. The day began normally, but quickly descended into chaos as armed conflict spread rapidly across Khartoum. Gunfire and panic engulfed the street, and within hours, the city was devastated. The Janjaweed militia forcefully occupied Al-Mu'tarribin University, converting it into a military base. They looted and destroyed university property, resulting an estimated damage of over 10 million US dollar, and thousands of civilians felt Khartoum abandoning their home and positions. The militia appropriated many of these abandoned properties, claiming ownership. The crisis rendered traditional academic operations impossible and forced the university to reassess how to resume educational services under extreme circumstances appear from the war. We follow the methodology of descriptive analytical methodology to assess the feasibility and impact of using the university platform during the wartime crisis. Approximately 2 months after the outbreak of conflict, several criteria questions were raised. The first question is where the current location of our students? Are they still in Sudan or abroad? Do they have access to the necessary communication tools, phone, internet, email, and so forth, to participate in a remote learning? Is it feasible to restart academic operations through online education? Where are the academic staff members located, and are they willing and able to teach online? So those questions actually are raised up when we held the first meeting to discuss the starting of the university. Now we propose a questionnaire which is revealed that about 41 or 41 students are in Sudan, and the other are abroad in Emirates, Saudi, Egypt, and African countries. Also, the staff is distributed among many countries like Sudan, 34, African countries, 25, and many other countries like Egypt, United States of America, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, and so forth. So our staff members have been distributed in many or allocated in many areas. With this statistical analysis, we actually state another questionnaire to see how we can collect much data as much we could, seeking for the full name of students, academic program, semester, college, location, phone number, email, and if he is willing to participate in online education and so forth. For the staff also, we look for their names, college, department, location, and phone numbers, email, and if he willing to teach online and need for additional learning management system training. And as well, we seek to where we could locate our headquarters, and this is remain as a big challenge for us. The university encountered numerous obstacles in the attempt to reopen through online education. Location of the new headquarters, what we can do, several locations were considered for relocating the university operations, including Nile State, Kassala, and Gadarif. The final decision designed Al Gadarif State is the new temporary headquarters and negotiate with Al Gadarif University via initiated by the Vice Dean, and we made the agreement with them. But we face another obstacle that the Ministry of Higher Education restriction, which is appear clearly in due to safety concern, and the Ministry of Higher Education prohibited any institution from reopening unless they were located in areas unaffected by conflict. Furthermore, the ministry did not officially recognize online education as an alternative to the traditional in-person instruction. So those two challenges we face from the Ministry of Education without providing any solution for the university to continue its education. A negotiation with the ministry, and as well we continue our plan anyway, because we need not to miss any students or year left behind. So although the first questionnaire is represent a few students who contributed, we also need more data. A significant challenge as was the lack of update information about the students, because the university is fully destroyed and the staff members' locations and their access to learning the resource. So also this is a challenge for us to know and to involve the most we could from the students to join us in us on the learning management system or online. Also, the technical and infrastructure limitation, and in this part, Dr. Buna have actually mentioned a lot of that. Operating of learning management system requires stable electricity, reliable internet, and sufficient technical staff resources that were scarce during the crisis. Despite these hurdles, the university launched a media campaign to announce the reopening and distributed a second round of survey to post students and staff to update contact information and reaffirm interest in participating in the online learning. And this actually gives us more information about the student and their places, and we have confident enough that starting the or opening our university is become crucial. This table actually show the statistical coming from the first round of opening, and they came to their exam after they have their courses online, and we have three actually centers open for them to make the exam. One in Sudan, Al Gadarif, and in Saudi and in Egypt. The total students who got benefit from this round was 20% of the students, as the university have 5,180, only 1,000 who get benefit from this round. But we are very happy that our session is successfully come to an end, and we are proud that we are the first university who use Edu successfully, university successfully in providing the teaching for our students and connect with them. And this step actually it is a marvelous step. We can proud of it, and we look to improve this experience by a period of 24-25 period. The percentage increased to 35%, promoting the additional of 2 new exam centers, one in United States of Emirates and the other in Nile State. So this is show us how we are success to perform our education to our students. When we come to evaluate the university for helping us in this regard, we looking for the usability, the content management, engagement and interaction, accessibility and feedback, accessibility and assessment and feedback, accessibility and inclusivity, security and privacy, customization and integration, technical support and training, overall satisfaction. This actually a questionnaire is free to the students and our staff as well, with a rubric of 5. Strongly agree and equate 5, and strongly disagree equate 1. And we make analysis for this questionnaire. A number of, or we can say most of the students and the staff were contributed to this questionnaire. The result shown that most of the satisfaction is around 90% in all these key keywords, which is each one of them is actually containing many questions raised to the students and the staff. So it is clearly that all the people are satisfied by the using of Eduversity. In the usability, actually over 90% of both students and staff agreed that the platform was intuitive and easy to navigate. Content management, in this regard, the students rated content structure highly, 100%, while multimedia integration received slightly lower rating, participating from the staff. Engagement and interaction. Interaction tools were moderately rated, suggesting an area for improvement. Assessment and feedback, high satisfaction was reported for both automated and manual assessment tools. Accessibility and inclusivity, the platform scored well, especially in readability and screen reader support. Security and privacy, both groups reported strong confidence in the platform's data protection measure. Conclusion, customization and integration, staff gave very high rating for the system, adaptability to institutional branding and tool integration, technical support and training, availability of documentation and tutorial was rated very highly. And in this regard, we actually appreciate the effort of Eduversity, which provide many tools and online support for training and so forth. This helps us to provide the training and the technical support for our students and staff as well. And overall satisfaction, the majority of willingly to recommend the platform. So from here, we can say how the University of Al-Muqtaribin appreciate the system. On discussion and conclusion, the experience of Al-Muqtaribin University during the war crisis clearly illustrate that the continuation of higher education in extreme condition is only visible through the implementation of a robust learning management system. And in this regard, the university platform demonstrates high reliability and effectiveness in delivering academic content, supporting administrative functions, and maintaining communication between faculty and students. Despite the discussion of physical infrastructure and the dispersion of staff and students across multiple countries, the university successfully resumed academic activity within 3 months of the conflict outbreak. This timely resumption allowed the institution to maintain its academic calendar, including graduation timeline. We must put in our mind that all our infrastructure in IT was destroyed totally, and we also succeed to receive our data because the services that provided by Edu University. The study also finding The study findings reveal that both students and academic staff rapidly adapted to the learning management system provided by Eduverse and expressed high level of satisfaction with its features. Key contributing factors including alignment of platform functionality with user academic needs, integration of modern digital tools and communication channel, 24 hours, 7 days technical support and responsive help desk, high system availability and data reliability, user-friendly interface requiring minimal training, and this experience underscored the critical role of digital transformation in education resilience. University has proven to be not only a contingency tool during crisis, but also a valuable long training solution for expanding access to quality higher education. Our recommendation, although the university platform proved effective in delivering theoretical content, the delivery of practical and laboratory-based course remaining a limitation. And in this, I need to mention, also refer to the presentation provided by Dr. Muna, that most of this limitation, I can see that they had a solution for it, especially in programming and in engineering and medical. So I think a part of training it should be provided to the university so as to be a model for other institutions to go through and to follow them. The following recommendations are proposed. One of those enhance practical and laboratory support, and I think from the presentation I have seen this is being solved. Only the need to work on training the people so as to get them confident enough to take it as a solution. Institutionalize learning management system based on the university experience. It is strongly recommended that each university be permanently integrated into the education delivery model at all levels: undergraduate, postgraduate, and continuing education. And we insisting on this recommendation actually from your experience to the benefit of the Sudan education. Invest in infrastructure and training. Also, continued investment in is required to improve digital infrastructure, expand access to internet services, and upskills academic and technical staff online is online dedicated. Um, Also, policy support for online education, and at the end, encourage regional collaboration. And we must thank very much the university for helping us to overcome the impact of war crisis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sarah, for your presentation. So now we have around 4 minutes for the question before to going on for the next presentation. So any participant here have any question, please feel free to ask Dr. Salah directly. You can just raise your hand if you have any question. If any question, just open your microphone and just ask your question to Dr. Salah. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Salah, for your time and your presentation. So now we will move on for the next presenter. It will be Dr. Eric Higley from Griffith University. The title of the session is When Connection to the World Required for the Virtual Exchange Project. So now, Dr. Eric, now you are presenter. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Yes, so please share your presentation, and you have 30 minutes for your presentation and 10 minutes for the participant to ask you any question. So let's go ahead to start.
Okay. There we go, share entire screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. So you can see the full screen now?
Yes, it's clear. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for coming this evening. Actually, it's this evening here. It's almost 7:45 p.m. here in Australia, where I am speaking from. I feel almost inadequate when I listen to the teachers from Sudan, how passionate they are and how wonderful they are in trying to give their students so much in such very difficult circumstances. My talk today is on a project that I run. It's run with assistance from the Japanese government in the past, so it is free of charge to participate in. There's no cost. Basically, what we are trying to do is bring students from many different countries together in virtual exchange. So as I listened to the presentations this evening I hear that the students in Sudan have many, many problems to overcome, but one of them is that they have no opportunity to interact with peers from other countries. And this is why I think the International Virtual Exchange Project might be a very useful project for students there. So today I'll be talking a little bit about the International Virtual Exchange Project, of course, but starting with the idea of what is virtual exchange. And then I'll share a little bit about the project, talk a little bit about Sudanese students who have participated so far, and then conclude and invite you to join as well. Okay, so what is virtual exchange? Well, virtual exchange started a number of years ago. It's just one moment, sorry, I'm just starting it. So it started when the internet started, really. As soon as the internet became useful and for normal people, not the people who invented it, then teachers started to go, wow, we can use this. And particularly language teachers started to think, well, if my students here in Japan who are studying English want to work with students in other countries, then we can show them that English really is an international language and start to share. And so from the late 1990s, it began. Back then it was CMC, computer-mediated communication. Then another term called telecollaboration started to be used. Another term was online intercultural exchange. But recently, the European Union and the US governments are using this term virtual exchange for when students from different countries come together online to learn. And virtual exchange has a very big umbrella. Part of virtual exchange is something called COIL as well, Cooperative Online International Learning. That's a little bit more focused on specific topics, whereas a virtual exchange, particularly cultural and language virtual exchange, is broader. But yeah, basically the definition that people use is virtual exchange involves engaging learners in sustained online international collaboration, and is outlined here. Okay, there are a number of different language virtual exchange. Dual language is where, say, students in Japan, where I taught, want to study English, and students in Australia who are studying Japanese want to practice with Japanese nationals. So they share that language learning. There are two languages involved, and dual language virtual exchange happens there. Lingua franca virtual exchange is similar to the International Virtual Exchange Project. We have students from multiple different countries all learning English. So students from South America work with those in Asia, the Middle East, Europe, Africa. And that's what happens in the International Virtual Exchange Project. Then there's also multilingual virtual exchanges where we have a number of different languages. Virtual exchange has become a big topic, particularly in language learning. If you go to the Asia Pacific Virtual Exchange Association website, you will see the bibliography there. There are hundreds of academic journal articles, book chapters, books about virtual exchange now. The research is expanding. It is very well researched, and the research shows that virtual exchange is very, very good for language learning and for intercultural studies. Why? Well, it motivates them to use English. I'm sure that many students in Sudan, similar to students in Japan or Thailand or Colombia, when they go into the classroom with peers from Colombia, Japan, they don't see the need to use English. They're not really motivated to use it. But if the teacher says, guys, after you study this, you have to then use the English you are studying to interact with people from other countries, wow, then the students start to go, really? Okay, there's motivation to start using English. And when they start to interact with people from other countries, that intercultural understanding develops, and intercultural communication is the result. It's a really powerful thing when you see students start to understand the world outside. Many of the students have a very narrow view of the world, but when they get to interact with peers from multiple different cultures, their way of looking at the world is broadened, and it is a very powerful experience to see students come to this realization, wow, we are part of a very, very global community. So the International Virtual Exchange, we have coming up from the week after next, the next one begins, and we have many, many students from many, many countries participating. Remember that this is free of charge, and we hope that students from Sudan will join us. The students at the moment, Mexico, Costa Rica, Colombia, Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, a number from Africa, throughout Africa, some from Europe, some from Southern Asia, Southeast Asia, Northeast Asia. So there's students from right around the world who are participating. I want to show you a little from the project, and the slides just don't do it justice. Now, because the present project has not started yet, and because due to the Europeans' GDPR Privacy Act, at the end of each exchange, we delete everything. So at the moment, there is nothing that I can show you except a video that we created previously. So I'm just going to show you that video now, and we'll go through a little bit of it. So here is what happens when the exchange starts. Say, for example, you as a teacher say, I want to participate. Then you send me an email saying, I want to participate. I send you an email back saying, okay, which university are you from? How many students do you have? Or which high school are you from? An important point here is, at the moment, the International Virtual Exchange project is mainly for tertiary education. Upper high school is a possibility as well. So if your students are 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, around that age group, they would be welcome. Okay, so you send me your students' data, their email address, ideally Gmail or Microsoft, because we use OAuth. If you can't do that and you need to use something else, we can organize it, but ideally we use OAuth using Gmail and Microsoft email accounts. The students log in after I've uploaded them, and this is the first page that they see. It's called the dashboard, and as you see here, this dashboard is quite unique. Once they start participating, these numbers start to increase. So if the student starts to post a lot of information to their peers, the number of words they use shows up here. Okay, then we talk also about engagement level. And engagement is something that I'll explain shortly, but it's the amount and the depth which students interact. How much multimedia they use, how many replies, how many times they click on the I like button, or how many times someone replies to them with I like what you've done there too. So then they log into the course page itself. The teachers have their own section, As you can see, it's hidden from students. Only teachers can access the teachers section. There's a teachers forum. There's a big blue button for teachers. And there's a few other tools there for teachers to use. But the main area for students is the forums here, finding out about each other, and a few other forums as well. So let's have a look at what those look like. Yeah, you can see a number of the other forums there, an open forum, intermediate to advanced forum, and inside these forums, students interact. Okay, so this is the main idea, sharing culture, sharing ideas, sharing your life with people from other countries and learning from them. So that's the basic premise of the International Virtual Exchange. We also have some side quests where we do language and culture quizzes. Once you achieve a certain amount, then you get a badge. And if you participate fully, you also get the International Virtual Exchange certificate. Okay, so in the forums, what happens? Well, this one here, you can see that there are 16 pages of forum posts. One page is 100 posts, and that means there are 1,600 posts there. Some of these forum posts are very busy. 423 replies to this simple question here. Students really get to interact. Starts off with a very basic idea, but as you'll see, it develops greatly. Okay, so if we look at this particular forum post, what is your favorite fruit? Very simple start. But as you can see, different people interact in different ways. So the initial student was from Colombia. A student from Japan replied. The Colombian student replied again. Here we're just seeing the threaded form. You can't see the actual content. We'll show you some content soon. But the threaded form shows how deep the interactions go. This is what we call engagement level. When it goes quite deep, that's deep engagement. Now, this particular engagement between a lady from Colombia, her name Lady, and Ayano from Japan went to almost 80 different engagements. You can see it's almost on a daily basis that they interact with each other. This one actually continued into mid-December. Even though the exchange finished towards the end of November, the students kept on interacting because they were so engaged with the project. Okay, so when we then look at that engagement level again, this is what we're talking about. If you have a deep interaction with another student from another country, this maximum engagement goes up dramatically. Those two students had a maximum engagement of about 50. Their average engagement was about 20, which is phenomenal, incredible. Okay, so this is what we mean by engagement. If we have a look now at an actual forum interaction where we see the details, one group of students were studying to become future teachers. So we're just going to have a look at one of those interactions from these future teachers. They are really quite interesting. This student said, "Okay, how am I going to teach foreign culture?" And so he used the idea of a yokai project. A yokai is like the ogres or the ghosts or the different spirits from Japan. And so he started to explain using a video that he created to share with students from other countries. if we look at how that developed now, you can see that the student could post a video. Okay, so that again shows you how different teachers can incorporate this project into their classes. Okay, there are many different types of interactions using different types of multimedia, and it's a really wonderful way for students to practice using the language that they are learning, particularly if you are teaching English. This particular forum was notable because the idea is to solve a problem or complete a task. We had students, for example, from Colombia who had trouble with water pollution. We had engineers in Japan offering, students who are studying engineering in Japan offering solutions. Students in Indonesia who were interacting with locals and tourists and sharing ideas about how best to look after tourists. There were many, many different types of interactions that happened there. Okay, so designing a community recycling system, for example, suggestions on how to further prevent global warming, discrimination based on skin color, all of these topics started to come up. There are a number of different other activities. This one was a cookbook that the students developed. So it really became quite an extensive and expanded course for students to share their culture. Okay, so that's just a very, very brief outline of what the project looks like. So we've done a lot of research on this project. As mentioned, it started in 2004. It went large scale in 2015. It's been going for quite some time. Last year we had more than 11,000 students from 28 different countries participating. And what do we see? Well, we see that interaction engagement improves. That means students become more involved in using the language that they are studying. They want to interact. They engage with students from the other countries. The other important point is that ethnocentrism, the ideas of racism and othering people from different countries, we saw a statistically significant change away from that feeling of ethnocentrism from many of the students from multiple different cultures. The increase in respect for cultural difference was clear as well. Students were becoming a lot more respectful of cultural difference, and the enjoyment in the interaction was increased greatly. Students studying a foreign language for the first time started to say, this is not just studying grammar, this is not just studying the basics of language, this is using language to really find out about the world. And so that interactional enjoyment increased, and that was very clear. And attention to the interaction. Okay, what am I saying? This is something that's very important when you are studying a foreign language, that you become more attentive to what you are saying and how you are interacting. So that improvements in all those areas result from virtual exchange participation. So the Ivy project in Sudan Sudanese students first really joined in 2022. Prior to that, in 2020, we had students from Niger, Djibouti, and a few other, Mali. Those countries from Africa had joined before, but in 2022, after I met Al-Munza, the students from Sudan began to join. Since then, some 200 students have participated to varying degrees. Obviously, some of the problems that were mentioned in the previous presentation, they do crop up. We have students who are participating, but then they have problems with technology, their internet connections are not as strong. But this is the beauty of this particular project. Because it's not always real time, we do have some real-time exchanges, but the vast majority of the exchanges are asynchronous. It's posting to a forum. So the students have time to craft their message, and then they can post that message whenever they want, and it goes in, and then afterwards students from other cultures can interact with them. So the need for very strong internet is not as high when you are participating in asynchronous exchange. Obviously, Sudan has a very unique situation. The educational settings, the cultural makeup at the moment is a really difficult situation, something that I have no concept of really. And as I said at the beginning, I feel almost, I cannot understand, I cannot know what you must be going through and what the students must be going through. But the International Virtual Exchange certainly lends itself to giving a little bit of hope perhaps, and a few other ideas. And these are some of the metaphors that some students from other countries like Myanmar and Colombia, a few of the South American countries, and the Middle East. These are some of the things that we hear from the students. What is the IVE project to you? And so some of them say it's a friend. Yeah, it was one of my best friends helping me live my life without getting bored. Particularly during COVID, this was very, very true. When I wrote something on the IVE, I feel like there's literally someone I talked to in my room. So it says, yeah, it was like a room for resting for me. I felt peaceful and valuable. Most days were the same, but IVE helped a lot with adding a nice breathing room. A door is another metaphor that students saw the IVE project as. Yeah, new experiences, new ideas. It's a door or a window to the world where we're sitting at home. And the last one there, bridge. Yeah, the IVE project was a bridge to see other people from around the world. So those ideas of metaphor of what the IVE project is for students, it's really quite a powerful one. And these were all the students' words there. When we ask you to join the International Virtual Exchange project or any virtual exchange, ideally we want you to incorporate it into your syllabus. And assessment is kind of important. If you just say, here you go and join this project, students will possibly not take it as important as it could be. But if you say, okay, this is 10% of your grade, then it becomes a lot more powerful. And we ask that you do assess your students. We give you a number of tools. There are a number of numerical data points that we give to the teachers afterwards at 2-week periods. So if a student is participating well, you can see this. Just click a button and all that data comes out. Okay, so you can assess your students based on that quantitative method, and you can also access your students' data to assess it qualitatively if you prefer. there is also the teacher forum so that the teachers can interact as well and learn from each other. Okay. Basically what I'm saying here is that, yeah, the virtual exchange is a really powerful way for your students to get to know and understand people and students from other countries and cultures. There are many benefits to that, as we've mentioned. I know that Sudan's situation is quite unique in the world right now, and it's a very difficult situation. We hope that Sudanese students' participation in the virtual exchange gives them that door, that window to the world, but also that students from other countries get to know and understand and appreciate how wonderful Sudan has been in the past and could be in the future. Right now, we know that it's in a very difficult situation, but that hope that was mentioned at the beginning in the opening ceremony, this is what we hope also we can bring to the students and the teachers of Sudan. If you are interested in joining this project, yeah, there's my email address. Please send me an email. I would love to have you and your students participate in this exchange. I will post that email to the chat. I'm going to stop sharing now and open up for questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Eric Higley. So anyone that have any question to ask directly to Dr. Eric, feel free to ask Dr. Eric for any question.
I can see a few messages in the chat. So thank you for your kind words and emoji. But yes,
Okay,
if you have any questions.
Yeah, actually, I have one question. Could you tell the participants that what is the benefit that the student can take it if you already joined for this project?
Sorry, the benefits of having already participated in the project, is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, there are many. So I can give you an example of students in Japan, for example. We've had many students in Japan come back to us later and say, the participation in the project was very useful for me when I started to work. I started to work in an international company, and some of the other people who I was working with had no idea about foreign cultures, but because of me participating in the International Virtual Exchange project, I felt a lot more comfortable interacting and working with people from other countries. And that helped the company because I was more interculturally competent. So this is something that's quite important. Being comfortable and understanding of other cultures is very, very useful for future work. For example, in Japan, up until 2017, the Business Association of Japan used to say to the universities, okay, these are the guidelines we hope students who graduate universities have. These kind of competencies, these kinds of abilities. And high up on that list was English ability. It was very high up on that list. If students have English ability, that was great. From 2017, even higher than English ability was intercultural competence, with understanding and being able to interact confidently with other cultures. So that is a huge change, I feel, for Japan. And it's also important because students who don't feel confident interacting with people from other countries, that can affect the company, that can affect themselves, that generates friction. But if you are interacting with people from other countries and learning about their cultures, then that fear is reduced, the ideas of friendship, of collaboration, of helping each other out increase. And as we say, as the fine speaker who introduced tonight's conference said, it's from those little things that this hope for improvement comes. And participation in the International Virtual Exchange Project has certainly helped students in the past develop that intercultural competence and ability to interact with people from other countries. It also does help their English language ability. That has been proven over and over again as well. Hopefully I've answered your question there. There are a number of
that's clear. Okay, Dr.
Yes.
Salah. Sorry, Dr. Nada, just we need to take
Thank you,
first Dr. Salah.
Thank you, Prof. Eric. And this very attentive presentation, and good luck for this project. My question is, would it be possible, because you mentioned that it's going to be for English only, teaching English only, or exchange the culture in English language? Would it be possible to participate by other languages so as to exchange the language? If I need, for example, to learn Chinese language or Japanese language, and I want to teach them Arabic language and so forth. So is it possible in the project or not involved yet, this kind of services?
We have a number of teachers who want to do similar things. So I have, for example, there's a teacher in Tokyo who has come to us and said, we want to interact with students in the United States who are studying Japanese. So it's English and Japanese, what we mentioned as the dual language virtual exchange. And they paid us a small amount of money. We set them up, and their exchange continues. So yes, it is possible. Unfortunately, though, that is not free on our side because it's a separate thing, but we can set that up for you, yes, but it does cost a little bit of money. Of course, if you want to set something up, you are welcome to do that. And I know that many teachers do that. And there are a number of different platforms out there that you can do that on. Yep.
Anyway, I will contact you, but you're saying that there is a fees. And how about if those students or teachers are a volunteer to participate, and how come to take tips from them, or the project take tips from them, or their volunteer contribution?
There is, yeah. So we have, as I mentioned, there are students who are studying to become teachers in the future, and they work very hard in the exchange. I'm not 100% sure what you are asking there. If there are teachers who would volunteer to set up something like that, possibly there are. I'm not 100% sure of any that I know of, but Yes, there very well could be.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, before to move to Dr. Nada, so Dr. Eric, we have also question in public chat. If you can see it.
I just saw that. And Adil, it is true. Sometimes students need that extrinsic motivation. So this is why I said, incorporating it into the syllabus and assigning a grade to their participation. This is important. Some students, it's just intrinsic motivation. They want to find out about other countries and learn about other cultures, and they participate willingly and very actively. But if you do not assign some kind of assessment, then yes, some students, they require that kind of motivation. So if you make it part of the academic program, which we encourage you to do, then students have both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation to participate. And of course, yes, I totally understand that electricity is a big problem. And that is something that unfortunately I can't help you with. The one thing though that I did mention there, because it's asynchronous, you can save your work and then upload it when you do have access to electricity and the internet. So that is one way of overcoming that kind of problem.
I remember, Eric, that when we already joined some student before 2 years, a Sudanese student, the teacher already added some academic assessment during the course. I remember that is 30% from the grade of the end of the academic course. It will be if you are already joined and participate on this project. So I think if you want to motivate the student to join and do this collaboration, you need to add some grades for your course, that it will allow the student to and also motivate the student to join. Also, we have question from Dr. Nada. If you are here, you can feel free to ask.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you very much for this great presentation. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I have two short questions. The first one, who owned this platform? Because, I think it's a challenging matter if you could manage the input of all this huge number of students participating in this platform. I mean, if you could briefly give us an idea about how do you make control according to the instruction that you believe in handling this very huge number of students participating and engaging with each other. This is the first one. The second question is that, since the spread of the pandemic in the whole world, very specifically in Sudan, we believe in keeping the door open towards any opportunities for our students to be engaged in communications with other students, for example, in this such very great platform of the virtual exchange. So for me, as a teacher at university level, if I want to engage my students, I need an approval from my university, and my university will need an approval from the Higher Minister of Education. So how can you see this through the collaboration with this platform of Edu University to have the link between you and the Higher Minister of Education if we want to engage or if we want to add this platform to the whole curriculum at university. So we will be free in using it within the umbrella of the instructions of Ministry of Education. Thank you very much.
Okay, the first question, who owns it? Well, the International Virtual Exchange project, as I mentioned, started in 2004. I set up the website. I carried out everything with the teacher in Colombia. From 2015, we received Japanese government approval and got funding, and we expanded it greatly and set up the server and we received the okay from the Japanese government. We also received the okay from the Colombian government, and we worked with the Colombian institution called SENA, and with them, since then, we've had more than 30,000 students from Colombia participate. So the ownership is basically, the IV project is similar to a non-profit organization. It's not a non-profit organization because it was actually too difficult to set up a non-profit organization. So it was set up because it's so much easier to set up here in Australia as a business that we ended up just saying we're going to do it as a business. We are not making money out of it, but it just was so difficult to get all the approvals for a non-profit organization that we gave up. So it's set up as a business, but as I said, it runs as a non-profit. Now, I have a team of teachers who are very invested in this project. There are 4 other teachers that are in Turkey and Japan that are very passionate about the project, and we all work together ensuring that it improves and expands. I am the head of that project, but yes, we work together. So I hope that kind of explains the ownership question. As to working with individual or government institutions, we have done a number of, as I mentioned, with Colombia, for example, we have a memorandum of agreement between the SENA, which is a government-run institution in Colombia. We have memorandum of agreements with universities in Japan, with universities in Indonesia, with universities in India, but most universities, it's just generally, they look at the history of the project, the amount of research that is on the front page. I'll just share the link with you there because you can then check the details of that. Where are we there? So the website is just put into the link there now. So yeah, we are open and very keen to enter into agreements with, whether it be at a national or an institutional level. That is fine, and we look forward to doing that. So basically, it starts with contact like this. If you wish to contact me and say what you need from us, we would be very happy and welcoming to you and your institution. And if it goes to the Sudanese government, that would be fine as well. I hope I have answered your question there.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Karek, because now we need to move for the next session.
Yes,
Anyone
sorry.
that have any question, you can contact me. So thank you very much for your time and to attend today for our conference here. And
thank you very much.
So
thank
now
you very
let's.
much.
You're welcome. So now let's move on to introduce Dr. Shahinaz Osman from United Arab Emirates University. The session name, the session title is "Learning Without Borders: International Study During the War." So, Dr. Shahinaz, do you hear me?
Yes, doctor, I can hear you.
So now you have the permission to present your presentation, so you can share with us.
Okay. I think now it's clear to you. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And now the whole presentation?
Yes. All the
Yeah.
time.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Thank you. So, hello everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are. All the distinguished guests. I'm Dr. Shahinaz Abdurrahman Osman, and today I will be discussing the urgent educational crisis in Sudan, sharing the international strategies that offer both immediate relief and sustainable solution to ensure the learning continues for all student children, even amidst conflict situation. So my presentation will be about learning without borders, since most of our students are displaced locally, regionally, and even internationally. We will talk about the international strategies for sustaining educational in war-torn Sudan. So, first of all, let's start with the current educational crisis in Sudan. We all know that the crisis situation now and the ongoing conflict has not only disrupted the education, but also exposed the children to increased risk to recruitment by armed groups, sexual violence, and other forms of exploitation. The destruction of the educational infrastructure and the displacement of the teaching staff have further expanded for the crisis, and this is about by the UNESCO and the UNICEF. This is statistics and everything that we mention now underscore the urgent need of coordinated effort to restore the educational service and to provide comprehensive support to the affected children and communities in Sudan, and even for higher education. So we need urgent intervention to do that. So let's have just an overview of the humanitarian catastrophe, the impact of the education in Sudan. We all know that the ongoing conflict in Sudan has caused humanitarian catastrophe, disrupting every single aspect of the daily life, every single practice people are doing all the time. So education has been particularly devastated, with over 90% of schools closed. Millions of students are now without access to basic learning in their own, and this affected their future and also the nation's long-term development. So this is a very urgent situation. The impact of the conflict on the children education, we all that the consequences are not just academic. As I mentioned, the war has imposed several psychological traumas on displaced children, impeding their cognitive development and even their readiness to learn. If not addressed urgently, the crisis could result in a loss of the whole generation. So severe educational disruption happened. The conflict resulted in unprecedented educational disruption. Millions are unable to attend their schools, and the schools are, as we mentioned, shut down for a long period of time. The high level of the psychological trauma among the displaced children hindered their learning capabilities. Also, this is an urgent thing that we need to think about more and more. So, the role of the schools in displacement. We have a lot of typical situations, just like the Sudan, of low-income countries, but Sudan is unique. Schools can do a lot in the child or even the student life. These schools provide more than education, offering sometimes nutrition, healthcare, psychological support. Even when the child is just playing with other peers, it can make difference in their lives. Establishing immediate safe learning spaces with trauma-informed approach is essential in this case. We have to just bring this kind of trauma approach to our curriculum after coming back school, opening schools after the war, inshallah. We must see schools as hub of recovery and protection. So the war has resulted, we know, the displacement over nowadays, after the last statistic by the UN, over 9 million people in Sudan were displaced, and including approximately 4 million children, making this the world's largest children displacement crisis. And also nearly 24 million Sudanese children are facing a generalization catastrophe, with 14 million required urgent humanitarian assistance, according to the UN report, and also the Guardian journal. So the role of the schools in displacement is crucial, and we have to think about this more than once. So now we have an urgent need of educational intervention. This urgent need, we have to think about it more than one time. There is a lot of intervention that we can do to solve the problem. We can do immediate learning spaces, integrating the trauma-informed educational strategies. It's essential to address the emotional needs of the children. And also the trauma-informed approach will establish safe learning environments critical for displaced children, even if these students are just displaced locally inside the country, or even regionally in the countries, just neighbor countries, or even worldwide. And also the long-term investment, funding this kind of innovations and strategies is crucial in this time. We know that with over 90% of schools damaged or closed due to the ongoing conflict, millions of the children and the youth are deprived of their fundamental rights to education. This disruption not only threatened individual future, but also it jeopardized the national recovery and the long-term peace building. Immediate and context-sensitive intervention are required in this case to restore access to learning, address the psychological traumas experienced by the displaced student and affected with the war, and rebuild the educational infrastructure without swift, coordinated effort from the local actors and international partners. The Sudan risk and the emergencies of lost generation can be restored, rebuild their lives, and contribute to the country's future stability. So there is a lot of innovative strategies for education in emergency. Amid the devastation that happened during the war, the opportunity to innovate, like the solar power technologies, the platform by the UNICEF of the Learning Passport. All these are just examples for these innovative strategies that can be done. And I will, inshallah, talk about some case studies of this one. It can bridge the educational gaps, especially in the remote areas. However, the implementation is challenged by infrastructure and the funding limitation. We know that the infrastructure is worse in Sudan. We lack electricity, sometimes total blackout, and we have lack of good established just an internet connection. So this is a big problem for people who inside Sudan. But maybe we can do this in an easier way for those who are in the safe places, or even displaced regionally, maybe, or even internationally. So, and let's go to the digital learning solutions as one of the innovative solutions that can happen. If we run just a SWOT analysis for this, there is a lot of strengths in accessibility, like using some digital platforms which already created, like the UNICEF Learning Passport, to enhance the educational access for marginalized children. Also, the opportunity for innovation, like the solar power technology, it can expand the digital learning reach in remote and underserved areas. And also there is a lot of weakness, like the infrastructure, as we mentioned, the limited internet and the devices availability, which can hinder the effectiveness of digital learning initiative. And also a lot of threats from the funding gaps, the insufficient financial support, which can jeopardize the sustainability and the expansion of the digital education program. So the digital learning solution present a vital opportunities to bridge the educational gap in Sudan following the war, particularly in the regions where traditional infrastructure has been destroyed or remain inaccessible. Leveraging this platform, such as the UNICEF Learning Passport, the solar-powered devices, as I mentioned, can provide flexible, scalable, accessible education for all students, for the displaced students. However, the successful implementation for all this will require addressing the critical barriers, including the limited internet connectivity, as I mentioned, and the lack of the digital devices, and also the electricity is one of the main problems, and the low digital literacy among the teacher also and the students. There is a big need for urgent need for strategic partnership with NGOs, government bodies, technology providers. It's essential to ensure that the digital solutions are inclusive, culturally relevant, and sustainably integrated into the national education framework. So this is also an urgent need, and it can be done. The community-based education initiative, the community-driven initiative can be one of the innovative solutions. And it's happening now in Sudan by individuals, by groups, centers, some universities, and a lot of people who are already doing this kind of initiatives, the community-based education. So they are trying to demonstrate effective grassroots solutions for all students, giving as much as they can. This not only deliver the education, but also they are trying to integrate the health and the psychological services as empowering the model that leverage the local capacity and fostering the resilience of people. This is very important part of the people life. The alternative learning pathway by those people, and also the holistic support service. A lot of people doing this already. Okay, this is a very important issue. I need to just focus on this, the trauma-informed educational approach. And we have a lot of cases who already adopted this kind of approach. So let's talk about the trauma-informed educational support or approach. This kind of approach it's not optional. I think it's vital. Teachers must be equipped to identify and respond to signs of trauma if we train them well to do that. The local community involvement can enhance the relevance and the effectiveness of interventions, helping the children feel seen, safe, and support. By creating safe learning environment, establishing this trauma-informed educational setting is crucial in all the schools, inshallah, after the end of the war, inshallah, and coming back to schools. We need to adopt this kind of education. Also, we need to train the educators on how to support students with traumas, the affected student, and enhancing their education and emotional well-being. And also we have, as I mentioned, the community engagement in education, involving the local communities in educational initiative, promotes the resilience and provide essential resources to ensure that the displaced children receive holistic support during the crisis and even after this finished, inshallah. So the international collaboration and the funding mechanisms. This is a very crucial thing to just come back and inshallah, recover after the trauma. So the international collaborative, there is no single actor can respond to this crisis alone. The strategic international collaboration and the sustained funding are key to implementing and scaling the educational intervention. The global education community must feel and rely in solidarity with the Sudanese children. So we need to focus on this one, the strategic international collaboration, to mobilize the resources and implement the effective education intervention in Sudan. So we will not leave anyone behind. Okay, now I will talk about some case studies of recovery and the future resilience in some countries, neighboring countries, Middle East countries, and some international countries. So I will talk about the Lebanon-Syrian refugee crisis, the Rwanda post-genocide recovery, and the Colombia armed conflict and displacement, the Sierra Leone post-Ebola crisis, and the Afghanistan ongoing conflict. So if I'm talking about the Lebanon, the context is, no one of this one is similar, just similar like the situation in Sudan, but there is some best practices we can follow. The context in Lebanon, over 1 million Syrian refugees entered Lebanon just fleeing from the war in Syria, and it's already fragile education system in Lebanon. The intervention was that the Lebanon adopted a double shift school system where the local Lebanese children attended school in the morning and the Syrian refugee in the afternoon. The outcomes of this approach, it significantly expanded the access to the education for refugee children, supported by the international funding and the technical assistance from the UNICEF and the UNHCR. So the Lebanon recovered after the war, and also the displaced children and students out of Lebanon, out of Syria in Lebanon, by following this approach. Let's just talk about the Rwanda post-genocide recovery. Following the 1994 genocide, the education system was nearly destroyed with loss of infrastructure and human resources. Maybe this one is just looks like what's happening in Sudan. The intervention for the government on that time by prioritizing the education in national rebuilding effort, introducing the free primary education and peace education. And also they prioritize the teacher training. This is very important intervention that Rwanda took after the genocide. So about Colombia, after the armed conflict displaced millions and disrupted access to the education, Colombia implemented the new school model in rural area. It's called Escuela Nova or something like that. I can't remember the name, but it's model in rural area and mobile learning units for displaced population. The outcome that this flexible community-based approach improved the access, especially in remote and conflict-affected regions. This is very important. What about Sierra Leone, the post-Ebola crisis? It's not a war crisis, it's a crisis. In 2014 and 2016, the Ebola outbreak caused widespread of school closure and fear of contagion. So the intervention that the government introduced radio-based educational program and later reopened schools with health protocols and psychological support training for the teacher, and the outcome that the country resumed education swiftly while also addressing trauma and health outcomes and concerns. And about Afghanistan, the decade of war disrupted the formal education, particularly for girls' education. The intervention in this one, the community-based education program, were established, supported by NGOs like Save the Children. They bring education to village where formal school were inaccessible for children. The outcomes for this, that millions of children, especially girls, access basic education in conservative or remote areas through locally negotiated support. So this is just cases of what's happening in the world and how these people are just having like innovation intervention to recover after the crisis. A pathway to recovery and the future resilience. Recovery is a long-term process. We need to be patient for that. We must rebuild infrastructure, adapt curricula to include psychological support, and design systems that are responsive to the culture and emotionally context of effective communities. The true resilience will come from within. So, the long-term educational reform needed. It's essential to secure a stable and resilient future of Sudan's children in the inshallah, after war. And this reform of this kind of educational systems must go beyond the emergency response to build a comprehensive, inclusive, and, as we mentioned before, trauma-informed educational systems. This is very crucial. The key prioritize include rebuilding for safe and accessible schools and integrating the psychological support into curricula, training the educators to address the needs of conflict-affected learners, and we need to ensure equitable access for everyone, all the students, to this education system. Additionally, we need a curriculum modernization. It should be aligned with global competencies while remaining locally relevant, such as systemic reform requires sustained investment, political commitment, active engagement from communities and international partners to ensure that every Sudanese child had the opportunity to learn, heal, and thrive. So this kind of long-term educational reform needs some patience, and inshallah, by the end, we can do everything that we need and dreamed of. So building sustainable education system, the digital innovation, when support and localized, offer lifeline, but sustainable progress demands not only the technology, but also the commitment from both global and local actors. The education must be framed not as a charity, but as a right and investment. So implementing, like just we mentioned that a lot of digital learning innovation can include just implementing the solar power digital learning tools, the UNICEF Learning Passport, or anything that we mentioned before. So we need to do this. So we will have a solid background and we will have a solid plan to achieve the fourth SDG, quality in education, inshallah. The role of global partnership in recovery effort. There is a big role, the collaborative effort between the international organizations, the NGOs, the community, the stakeholder are providing transformative approach. They enable the pooling of resources, innovative in program delivery, and long-term community empowerment. The partnership is the foundation of sustainable education in Sudan. So we can, mobilization of resources can happen with the global partnership, and also the innovative educational solution by the collaborative effort can lead to develop and creating educational program tailored to the unique challenge faced by the displaced children. And also the sustained community engagement. The partnership also can foster the local involvement, ensuring that the educational initiatives are culturally relevant and responsive to community needs. This is very important. Now, at the end of my presentation, I need just to raise this call to action. Before I conclude everything, I appeal to you all, NGOs, please prioritize the flexible, context-driven educational programming, and commit to the long-term partnership in Sudan. To our government, include education as a core pillar in humanitarian aid packages, and support the policy framework for displaced learners. And for individuals, advocate, donate, volunteer. Every action counts in helping Sudanese children reclaim their rights to learn. Let's act urgently and unitedly to ensure that war does not silence the future of Sudan, and that we didn't keep anyone behind, and we didn't left any child behind. This is the end of my presentation, and I'm very happy and glad to be here today with you all, and nice to have this with you. And this is my email if you need to attach me anytime, and I will be welcoming you. If you have any questions, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shahinaz. Any question? Question from the participant? Okay, there's no question. So let me say thank you very much, Dr. Shahinaz, for your time and for your presentation.
Thank you very
So
much.
now you're welcome. So now let's move on the last presentation for the first day today. Is my presentation. So let me to tear the presentation. This is loading. Okay, here we go. This is last presentation today. So it will be as just only some tips that we need to present it today. I know this first day that it took a long time. So let's go start for the session today. Although I am very supporting for the Arabic language, but today's presentation, it will be as English. So also during the presentation, if you have any question, just only send on the chat. So I will be directly for the presentation. As I mentioned, we already now in the end of the presentation. Let me introduce myself at Ferris. I'm Mr. Al-Munzir Salah. Today I will present from the challenge to continuity AI enhanced model tools for the crisis education. So in this presentation, we need to mention some tips and that how we can use some feature in the model, how we can integrate the AI for the assessment, and how we can also help the teacher using the AI method. But before that, let at the first to start about the agenda. So we need to mention about some information. Question bank, what is that related with the question bank? Also after that, we need to know about what is the challenges that we need also to prevent it. So what the basic solutions that we can use to avoid from these challenges. And we will discussing also about the AI enhancing model question bank, and also we have some practice that we need to mention it. And finally, we will talking also about the AI proctoring and how we prevent the students from the cheating during the exam. So I will skip it some slide for that it will already take some theory. I want to focus just only about the most critical tips that we need to mention. So at the first, let's to start about the introduction. As I mentioned, I will just only to skip some slide to take the to avoid the too long time for this presentation. As we already, as a teacher, most of the teacher you already know what is a model. It's just only like as a help educator. As for the learning management system, it's already used for the manage online courses and assessment. So also, as a general, what is a question bank? Question bank, it means that we have already centralized like a big place that we already have more questions that is already we can create quizzes, tests, or mock exam during the assessment of the students. So you can make different type of question, like including true and false, multiple choice, short answer, and matching question. So also just to mention, also just we know we have a concept that called Bloom taxonomy. Bloom taxonomy is as the basis of education. That it means that we have like pyramids that we have starting from remembering type of question until the creative of question. That means if you want to create new questions, that you mean under one of the 7 categories here. So just only I want just to mention that if you want to create the question bank, you need some background regarding this pyramid for the Bloom taxonomy. So regarding the question bank, let's go deeply about question bank inside the model. We know that if you are teachers that use the model platform, we have the question bank. In the question bank, we have from the question bank, we have the main 4 categories. We have the question, export, import, categorize. So we have everyone, every categories have benefits that you want to use. Like for example, questions that you means if you want to create new questions, you just use the categorize of question. If you want to export questions, you just using the export feature. So this is just only basic background. If we go deeply, you will know what I'm saying now. If also we have the export and import, as when we need to use the export switching to file, we have different type of file, but I want just only from all just to remember the first format is called icon format. We will mention it at the end of this presentation. And also, if you want to import from the question into model from outside to inside, also we have one of the types of file is icon format. Also, we will back it later. So here, this is just only the exam setting. It's just only start from the name of the exam, and you need to determine the timing of the exam, and also we have the time limit for the exam. And if you are using model, also you just mentioned that you need to know what's the difference between the timing and the time limit. Timing is just when you just determine when the quiz will start and when will close. For example, if the exam it will start at 10 and it will end at 12, you need to select your date and just only 10 here, and in the close of the quiz you need to enter just only it will be closed at 12. So what is the time limit? Time limit is just you need to determine how many minutes that the student want to do the exam. It's just like 100 minutes and 20 like hours. That if the student already joined after 10 minutes, the student it will take 2 hours, not just only 1 hour, not like the first feature. Just the student, if the student joined at 10 and 10, it will already lost 10 minutes. So that is the difference between the 2 options. Now let's to go deeply. I don't know why this is too slowly. So now let's go deeply. What is the challenges that we need to mention? How we support the teacher in crisis with a smarter assessment solution. As clear that we can see now, one of the most challenges that we have a student, we have teacher. The teacher want to evaluate the student, and also the student want to evaluate. But how the teacher can evaluate the student during this conflict, how we can make sure that the assessment it will be more accurate, not just only the student using cheating or other type of cheating that can use it during the assessment. So we can conclude the challenges into 3 points. We can see the time-consuming question creation. The teacher during this component, most of the teachers don't have laptops or don't have electricity or don't have internet, so or just have, for example, every day 1 hour. So the time consuming for question creation, that will be an issue. And we know that if you want to enter your question into model, you need sometimes you need to revise your question, you need to revise your answer, so that it will be also time consuming. Also, the ensuring the academic integrity without supervision. How the teacher can make sure that the student already finishing the exam without any cheating. How we can evaluate that. That is also one of the challenges. The lack of professional support for training. Also, most of the teachers during this conflict don't have the ability of the skills for the creating questions or how to able to do that. So we need a simple way that can the teacher to do this task, and also to make sure that to evaluate the student with a better way. So let we go deeply also for the basic solution. I just here, this is not just only final solution or just this. I will just only mention some solution. Maybe teacher using this solution, maybe other teacher can use other solution. Is also different from teacher to teacher or from institute to institute. I will just suggest some solutions that you can use it, and you can select the best solutions that you depend on your environment. So the solution number 1 we can say is using the open book exam, because we don't have any ability to make sure that the student will not use, for example, OpenAI or AI or open books during the exam. So one of the solutions is to use the open book exam. It's not either the traditional exam, because if the teacher know how to make the exam, the open exam, that is the first one. I will be more quickly. Solution number 2 is we can use the feature of the time limit exam, as we mentioned before. Let me say, for example, if we have an exam with 50 questions, so we have 30 questions as MCQs, and we have 20 questions as true and false. So let me ask question: what is the time of this exam? Normally, it will be 2 hours. It depends on the curriculum of the university or the school, like the credit hour of the course. But what happens if the exam time equal 20 or 30, not 120 minutes? I mean, 2 hours, it will be visible if the exam it will be on offline. So it will not be accurate if we use the same time of hours as the online exam. So that the student will take an advantage to use open book, to open AI, what kind of cheating. So now we just ask what happens if we can use the time limit and reduce the time of the exam. So here we need to back also to the Bloom taxonomy. As I mentioned, you need to back about the how many questions you have, and each question is depend under which pyramid or which categorized from the pyramid. So sorry, I lost my question. So you need to ask yourself for question. If I have, for example, 30 question, each question it will be under one of the categories that we already mentioned. So based on what we can determine the time of the exam. Normally, it will be depend like this table. This table, it will present the question type and the standard time location. For example, MCQs, normally it will take 1 minute to 2 minutes per question. Also, it depends on that pyramid that we already mentioned. True and false, it will be 30 to 60 seconds. Short answer question is 2 to 5 minutes, and matching it will be 1 to 2. That if you have the exam on the offline term. But if we have an online, definitely this table, it will not be accurate, because if you make, like, if you have 30 multiply 2, that means 1 hour. 1 hour for 30 question, the student just only for 10 minutes, it will be finished all the MCQs. Because offline, it will be different from online. That is the first thing. So we need to ask, can the study time allocation be effective in current situation, and does it help to prevent the student from cheating? So what happens if we have 30 questions and we just reduce the time limit of the exam? So what will happen about that? So here, this is an example scenario. We have like experiment that we have 60 questions. So we have the student that it already started the question, and we have the time of the exam is just only 25 minutes, and we can see here this is the number of questions, and we can see here this is the start time of the question, this is the complete time of question, and here this is the duration of the exam. So what we conclude from this table, we can conclude that just only the student is take about 19 minutes to finish 60 questions. So what does it mean? That means the standard time, if we use it in the online exam, it will be not accurate as if as we are using on the online exam. So how we can make sure to determine the best time? It will be different also from the course to course. So how we can know the best time for each course? The teacher, it must be to try with different mock exam and midterm, and to see how many times that it need for each question that the student need to finish from the first question until the last question. That it will be accessible, and also it will be different from course to course. Also, that it will be one of the solution. Here, I suggest all to read this paper, and this paper is also discuss about the time standard, and also have some experiment with the students. If anyone that wants this paper later on, I can share with him also. Also, let's move on about what is the method that AI enhancing the model question bank. As I mentioned, that it if the teacher that want to enter the question, this action, it will take long time. So we need to investigate the AI and how we can integrate it with the model. So the first method that we can use like a small tool that we already proposed. This tool can help the teacher is just only to enter your question and make. Sorry, I lost my microphone also. This tool, it can help also the teacher to enter the exam more. It will help the teacher to import just the question as a file. The teacher just only, rather than just only to enter the question question by question. For example, if you have 10 questions, in model you need to enter question by question. So you need to create 10 questions. So here you need just only to import question from the file, and the tools, it will be converted into this text, and you need just only to make sure for the correct answer, because it will be integrated with model. You need just only to highlight the correct answer as a bold, and just click on make selection as a bold, and just after that you need to take all bold answers that it will be capturing all the correct answer. And finally, you need to click to convert as icon format, so that it will, as I mentioned before, that is one of the formats that it will be visible and integrated with model. And finally, you have all your question as a model exam, model question bank. You need just only to download the file, and you need just only to import it. As I mentioned for the export import, we will see that as a practice as quickly also. Secondly, the second tool that also we already proposed is AI style question generator. So by using this AI generating question, which already integrated with the AI, so you need just only to write your content topic into a dialog box, and just you need to select the question type that you want. We have until now we have multiple choice and true false. You need to select the type of questions that you want. You need to select how many number of questions that you want to generate, and just you need to click on generate questions. The tool, it will be use the AI for generating the question, and you can evaluate your question. If it's okay with you, you need just only to export your question. It will be export directly as icon format. As I mentioned, it will be integrated with model directly. Let's just only in 2 minutes, I will share my screen to see the two tools and how it will work. Okay, now I share my screen. So this is the first tool that I mentioned. So what you want to do, you need just only to write. You can write your question here directly, or if you don't have time, you want to import your question from the file. So this is an example I already prepared. So you see that word formatting may be lost. You need to mark your question. So now we already have 2 questions in this dialog box. Now we have the first question, and we have option A, B, C, D. So we need just only to highlight the correct answer. You need to highlight the answer, and you need just only to make selection as a bold. And for example, is this one also, let me see, this one also is the correct answer. You need to make selection as a bold. So now you need just to click on detect bold answer. So detect to bold answer. So now we already finished. So we need just only to convert icon format. So it will automatically successfully convert the 2 questions. So now these questions are ready to be integrated with model. As we can see here, this is the syntax that it's already integrated with model. Now we need just only to download the output. It will be as a file, as we already see here. This is the test file. Let me click download, and you need just only to save it. Now output is already saved. So now this file, you can use it just only as import for your question into the model. So now let's practice also as a quick the second tool. Let me to share my screen again. Okay, so this is the second tool. Also, this is already integrated. Currently, it's integrated with OpenAI. You can just write any topic that you want for your content, and you can copy and paste, for example, from your lectures, from your curriculum that you already prepared before. So here I already prepared some example topics. So for example, let's to load the example from technology. This is related with the blockchain technology. So let me say if we have true and false question type, I select question type. So here you can select the number of questions that you want to generate. So for example, 2 questions as a simple. So you need to generate 2 questions. As we can see here, the 2 questions that is already prepared. For example, if you want also 4 questions, you need just only to generate also. So it also to generate 4 questions. So let we move also from the science. Load. Okay, 3 questions. Also generate. Also it will be generated for the science. Any topic that you want, it's already integrated with AI. When you finish from your question, you just also, as usual, as we mentioned before, you just export as icon format, and you can just save your file. And after that, you need to integrate it with model. Just import into the model. So now I have the last part for my presentation. So what happens if we need that to proctoring the student during the exam? That I mean the teacher that want to see when the student already during the exam, the teacher will already proctoring during the exam. So also we have the method that will be integrated with the model. Also, it will be using as image proctoring, audio proctoring, video proctoring, and also AI-based proctoring. It will be during the exam. Also here you need to inside the model you need to define which method that you want to use. It will be as a live proctoring or just capturing image during the exam. Also the capturing screen, capture video, capture audio, and also live AI proctoring. So also here, this is a proctor assignment. If you want to distribute some task for some teacher, I mean that if you have 3 courses, concurrency to be during the exam. So you just you just divide the number of teachers for each course. For example, 2 teachers for each course, and you just the teacher it will be meet with the student during the exam. Like this one, this teacher have 3 students. It will be during the exam. If any student have any issue or something like that, it will be directly during the exam. And here the student, before to see the exam, it must be to prove the authentication card, something like passport or ID card or student card, whatever the authentication. It depends or different from institute to another institute. And here, this is the like when the exam is already finished. This is a video of the student quiz attempt. If the teacher already assigned some cheating case or something like this, it will be also recording during the exam. So if the university already ignore the result and the student is already asking about what is the reason about that, you need just to prove this video, and it will be provide all the mistake during the exam. And finally, if you have any question, feel free to ask me. And also, this is my contact later on. Also, if you have any question or any regarding my presentation today, you can just contact with me. Sorry for take long time. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask me any questions that you want. Yes, Dr. Adel. Share your microphone. You are mute. If you have any question. Yes, Dr. Salah.
Thank you very much. Sorry for I gone out according to internet problem. I'm actually in Iraq, Baghdad. Sometimes we face this problem. My question actually, or my comments, virtual exam is going to help a lot in during this. The concern is the percentage of cheating by any means is high. Even if you have a video, also it is high because supervision of the exam is very important. So how we can overcome and be sure, because if there is a 1% of suspicious, then the whole exam it will be a problem. The second thing is if you generate from my experience, if you generate question from AI, sometimes it is not 100% correct, or I mean that you need to verify these questions again and be sure that this question is 100% correct. The third things are not all the subjects or courses we are studying. It could be assessed by those type of questions only. I mean MCQs or true and false, because those are when to come to equations and complications like that, it might fail. So if there is any improvement of this, could you tell us about it and elaborate on it? And thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Before move to Dr. Adil, let me just only quickly to answer for your question, Dr. Salah. The first question you asked about the exams, about the exam supervision, and we cannot make sure that 100% that it will be prevent the cheating. I will tell you a direct answer that there is no chance if you are using the AI proctoring exam for the cheating. Why? Because in AI proctoring, we use different ways. Firstly, we already capturing the camera. We already capturing the sharing screen. What means sharing screen? Let me to start first by thing by thing. First thing is sharing screen. Sharing screen, that means you cannot use your device. Anything that you already leave the page that you already
I know this the sharing screen. I'm telling about if there is assistance from his brother, his neighbor, his whatever, giving him the answer in behind, and then he look at the answer, write it. So you won't figure that if he is the screen, yes, it is as it is, but there is assistance outside of this view of your camera or something like that, and say another computer or another plasma, and this plasma they generate the answer on it. So there's a possibility of cheating 100%, I know, because we have experiences before from our implementation, and the only solution we come of it that we collect the students in a lab and give them the online exam, and they can go through it. The questions are appear randomly. But there is under our supervision, and this is also has a policy from the higher university. It might work with another issue, but I don't work in academic. I don't know, but the idea to have online exam, it is a perfect, and I confidently support it, and we need it. But we need to cover this point, how to be sure that there is no cheating.
Okay, I will respect your opinion on your answer, but definitely sorry about that. But I think we can do another meeting after the end of the conference. It depends on your tools that you already use. I agree with you that it will not be 100% for preventing from the cheating. If you don't have a good tools, that it will be preventing you from the cheating. But what I'm talking now, we have integrating tools that if you have someone already talking with you during the exam, it will be automatically detected by the microphone. If you are using any plasma, PowerPoint, any device, flash or something like that, it will be also as alert on the AI tools here. You will see that on the report that will be after the end of the exam. So I know that you have a lot of experience from also the online exam, but recently we have more modified approaches and tools that is already integrated also with high features that can detect the cheating. That is the first thing. The second thing is also we're not just talking about theory that okay we need to just only to prevent from cheating. No. We already discussed about the experiment, and already we did it a lot of online exam with report, and later on maybe you can try with these tools, and I think you will change your opinion. So later on we can try also with exam. We can invite you for real life exam and try to cheating. That it also we can give you an online exam, and you can give you like the time, for example 10 minutes. Do anything for cheating that you want. Don't tell us about what you want to do, and we can discuss after 10 minutes if the tool will detect that or not. So that is the first thing. The second thing is about the AI is not a cure for the question. Also, I need to add something. Also, is different from person to person. If you know how to ask the AI prompt, you will be a good result. Also, there is a paper that can also to tell us how we can use the AI techniques in the best way. Also, I can share with us later on the paper that also discuss how we can to get the better result from the AI. Most of the teacher, when you already ask the AI just only generate this question or this question, definitely it will be a wrong answer. But if you know how to ask the AI, also depend on the model that you use in the AI. So I think we can schedule another session regarding to prompts, and to also to share some knowledge with the staff of how to can ask the AI. Regarding the type of question, also this is a good question. As we are already finished, just only from the proposed tools that we already finished, just only working on true and false and multiple choice. Now we are working on different type of question. It will be just take some times. We are working on matching question, filling in the gap, and we are trying to improve our work. But most of the teacher now, according to the survey, that is just only using the MCQs and true false, and we need just only to start to help the teacher. When already the teachers start, later on we can improve the work. But now we are working on to improve the number of questions, the quality of the questions, and also the type of question. I hope that it makes sense for your questions. So let's go to Dr. Adil, if you have any question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Do you hear me, Mr. Munjir?
Yes.
First of all, I thank you for the very interesting conference. Really, I wish I had sharing my experience and knowledge with the previous session presented by Dr. Shahinaz. But anyway, regarding this session, I have wondering about the time questions, which is very good solution for to prevent cheating. But I'm wondering to how extent is the use of time question appropriate for assessing higher order thinking skill as defined with upper level of Bloom taxonomy? Thank you, Dr. Munjir.
Okay, thank you very much for your question. So if your exam is just only use the higher level of Bloom taxonomy, so if you have, for example, 60 question, so we can say the best time for your exam is between 20 minutes to 25 minutes. But it's also different from course to course. Maybe, for example, if you are working on exam that it will take some time for the mathematics, it will be increased also for the time. But if the course is just only like theory or just like some experiment that you need just only to ask regarding the knowledge, I think 20% to 25% that it will be enough. And how to make sure that is the best way, you can try with the midterm exam before the final exam. It will be great opportunities to make sure that is the best time for your student. Hope that it makes sense.
So when you add more time, then you extend the opportunity for cheating.
Also cheating, yes. Because the student, if have for example 10 minutes free for time, it will you don't have any tools for proctoring, so absolutely it will be use Google, AI, Quillbot, whatever the type of the AI. It will be make sure that the answer is correct.
So I think this issue is still opening for more researches.
Yes. Okay, so any question? So at the end, I will invite all tomorrow because we have the great session also regarding the AI in education. It will be also the first session tomorrow. It will be at 10 a.m. Sudan time until 10:40 Sudan time. It will be presented by Professor Gordon Patson from United Kingdom. It will be as it will work as a Hoshi University of Technology in Japan. So I will invite all for this session because I think it will be a great opportunity to share with Professor Gordon. It will share some also extra techniques that used in AI in education. So it will be extended for this session. So I will invite all tomorrow to attend this session. Hope all it will be on time. So no question now. So let we to end for the first day. Please, Anna, if you have anything to add before to end for the first day.
Okay, just we want to thank all the participants who attend with us the first day of our e-learning conference. And we will invite you to join us by tomorrow. As Mr. Munzir said, tomorrow we have very interesting sessions in the morning at AI and education. And also we have two important papers from Sudanese experts from National University Experience. Prof. Gourashi will join us at the first of the paper. And after that, Dr. Ali will present the National University Experience from COVID-19 until now. And also we have a very important paper from Dr. Abdel Munaim about related to the medical field in education. He will illustrate a lot of interesting software that help in software simulations for the medical educations. Just want to thank you again, and we hope so to see you tomorrow. Okay, thanks.
Okay, the last thing, yes, all the session it already recorded and it will be shared with all the participants later. If you miss any session, you can watch it later, and also we will upload it on YouTube. And I want to say thank you for all and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.